yeah, good idea. Press that button.
Oh,
Shit, clap.
yeah, we need one of them.
You didn't have a clap last time?
No, it was a bit fucking hard.
Oh, the humour.
Bit hard to sink in. So today we've got Lucie,
Hello, how are you?
Hey, Lucie, thanks for coming down.
pro bodybuilder.
Yes. As of the 28th of March.
Ooh,
I
this
went
year
pro.
you
This
went
year,
pro.
Yes.
Holy
After 13 years.
Yeah, I was going to say you've been doing it a long time. Like,
Long time, but not consistently for 13 years. I've also been powerlifting as well. I have, I think, in that time, 2 years off.
yeah. Can you just
Obviously-
bring that sucker in a bit closer?
Yeah.
there
So
we go.
last year, obviously, for Corona, and I think 2017, I also had off. I was also coaching. So involvement, but not competing.
So you were PTing or like full coaching?
Full coaching powerlifters. Yeah. So it makes it very hard.
What entails in coaching a powerlifter? Like,
Coaching is the programming. So, but I was also mentoring a few lifters. One girl in particular, who competed. So, I took her from where she was previously and just brought her up to a national champion.
Wow.
Yeah. So that
who was that?
her name was Shannon Hastings. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll put a little picture or something. No?
One of those things, yeah. So
Okay.
the coaching, that was pretty much 2017. So there was a few lifters, quite a few comps, regional comps and nationals.
Yeah.
So it does take away from your competing because you need to look after your athletes, you need to handle them, you need to program them if there's any issues.
Yeah.
Also the psychological side too. So if there's, they're not hitting numbers, it's also, just working on that mindset as well and motivating. Yeah, so it does take a lot
Yeah.
out. But I was also injured that year, so I thought, no, I'll take a back seat.
Oh, yeah.
And that's all right.
Are you like setting the programs based on their weaknesses?
With the powerlifting, it's a strength-based program. So you're definitely on weaknesses, obviously, with the three lifts with powerlifting, bench, dead and squat. So you analyse their technique and, they hit their max and then you program from that max. So you work on a projected max, so a number you want to hit, say, in 12 weeks' time when your competition is. But with your sessions, you're analysing your lifters, their technique, where they're failing, if, they're not locking out completely, if their setup isn't the best, you can tweak them. It's also, they may not have the endurance, so we work on some general preparedness, building some conditioning as well, because you do need to be fit. People think, powerlifters, they're just big and strong, they don't do any cardio. It's not cardio as such, but you still need to be physically fit. So the conditioning side, sleds, tyres, prowler, all that stuff,
Yeah.
Wow. It's probably it's like a niche sport, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Same as the bodybuilding is a very niche.
You could say that.
Like everyone does it, but they don't do it to your level where...
Yeah, there's
do they?
Well, look, let's be honest. When I started, I'll admit, when I started back in the day, it was to look good on the dance floor.
Yeah.
Because I've come from an athletic background. I was swimming from 7 to 17, but I had a break, and then I thought, maybe it's time to train, and I just wanted to get lean. I was slender, but I didn't have that tone, so I was, all about the six pack and looking good on the dance floor. So that was like 20 plus years ago. So showing my age. Yeah.
Were you living here then when you were swimming? Or
No, so I'm Wollongong born and bred. So 1977 vintage.
Yeah.
And I went to Wollongong High, so I was swimming.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, my wife went to... My kids go to Wollongong High.
Oh, really? It's a good school.
Yeah,
a lot
it's
of
good
good times. Wollongong High. A lot of fun times. Yeah, a lot of good
So
memories.
your parents are Kiwi and...
No, actually, my mum's Filipino.
Ah.
Yeah. My
Where
mum's
did you get the Kiwi from?
I lived in New Zealand. So when we met, I was in New Zealand.
Yeah.
Because I met a Kiwi. It's another story. Like I met a Kiwi, and I ended up moving to New Zealand instead of going to the UK for my OE. Ended up following my heart. How sweet! Back in 2004. So many years ago.
They would have thought you're a local. I think from your tan and stuff like that.
I
You
know.
fit right in.
Oh, look, that's just from spending time at the beach and
it's been really
the glorious
good
weather.
lately,
So I
hasn't
love just laying on the beach and soaking up that vitamin D. So good.
Hey, with your training powerlifters, did you ever do a thing where, let's say it's a competition, and you told them it was a weight they've already lifted, but it's not? There might be an extra couple of kilos on it. The psychological thing.
No, I don't think I've ever done anything like that, but I get where you're coming from because
I know some Olympic guys, their coaches have done that to them. They thought they were going to lift the weight they'd already done. So there was no stress for them. They knew they could do it, and it was way above what they thought they could do.
Wow.
Yeah, I have heard of that.
That could backfire.
It can, yeah. Look, I think if it's like 2.5 kilo increments,
Yeah,
it should be fine. But I mean,
what are the rules?
The rules are with the squat needs to be below parallel. So you often see guys at the gym squatting high.
Oh yeah,
They don't hit depth.
back in the day.
But then again, look, that's not wrong either because as a bodybuilder, we can do that too, just to hit the glutes.
Yeah.
Or you can go quarter and then full range and then coming up. But as a powerlifter, you have to break parallel.
That's for your knees, your legs
Past.
go
Past.
below.
Yeah. So the hips need to break that parallel line.
Yeah.
And again, listening to the commands. So they'll, someone will get under the bar. Depends on each federation. If there's a mono lift or if there's just a rack. If it's a rack, then you need to walk it back. If it's a mono lift, these hooks just like release. So you just get under the bar and it's just...
Yeah, wow.
Yeah. So I have used both.
Yeah.
Back in the day. And so you just need to listen to the command. So you're watching the head judge and they'll say squat, the person squats, they break parallel and they come up and then they'll say rack. So as soon as they've finished that lift, if it's successful, if they hit parallel or pass parallel, they'll get 3 white lights.
Yeah, right.
So the next one would be bench. Bench again, it's a setup on the bench. So really different federations, different rules, but the main focus is listening to the commands again. So someone's unracking, that person, a coach who helps the person lift off that bar, jumps off away so it doesn't obstruct the judge's vision. The person who is lifting will be given the command of start, press, rack. So again, the press needs to be, hitting the chest.
Yeah.
And it's often a pause. Depends on the judge. Sometimes they make you hold it longer.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Can this judge have some sort of, say, a chip on their shoulder?
Oh, absolutely. There's been people that make them hold, for long periods of time, and then it's like rack. Some people like throw the bar back before they say rack, so that's a non-lift. When they're pressing again, so you may see like some crazy arches. That's okay, as long as
what are the rules for the arch? Is there
no rules?
Okay.
Look, it's to the advantage of the lifter. So getting that arch creates less range of motion for the press. So think if you're so arched and your arms are out wide, you're just going to be like this. And if you got short levers, I was like nothing. as we were talking about one person at the gym today, about short levers. And with the feet. So some people may be on the balls of their feet. Some federations say flat feet. As long as the butt cheek doesn't rise when you're lifting. So you often see guys...
Wink, is it?
No, not the wink. It's like, when you see guys at the gym and they're benching and their ass is coming off the bench. So
bench,
you need to be in a tight position and your ass being on the bench, so the glutes on the pad and your feet planted into the floor and your rear delts back locked in, that gives you a stronger position to press. Yeah, okay. So when the ass comes off, it's a no lift.
Yeah. And do you have so there's a few judges?
There's the head. So there's a judge behind.
Yep.
And the person that's lifting off. Then there's 2 judges on the side, and they're just watching to see if the ass comes off. Wow. Yeah.
So if your ass comes off, does that mean it's
no
a
lift.
bit of a cheat though? Is that
it does,
more?
You must be getting more, the way that you're pressing, so you're getting some momentum somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
How did you get into powerlifting? Because you when I met you, you were doing. Was it?
I was the pretty little bodybuilder.
You only just started though.
I just started, yeah. All right, so I did the 2 comps in 2008, 2009 in New Zealand. I met an Aussie. We had a long distance, and I came back to Australia. He was in Townsville, so I came back in 2010. And so post-comp, it was hard because I had an old school coach. So they didn't talk much about how to prepare after competition. Now, if you restrict yourself, what's going to happen?
Crazy,
you're going to rebound. It doesn't matter to say, oh, look, pig out on protein. once you get that taste of carbs, it's just like, you know, the sugars are out of control. It's more addictive than cocaine. Not that I know, but but it's like a snowball effect. You can't stop. So people blow out. And so you'll see people shredded on stage and then the following week, you know, 10, 12 kilos can be piled on quite easily because you've dehydrated, you've taken diuretics or, you know, you've cut the water. And then you've influx of sodium and carbs, you know, this rebound effect. So it's quite hard to accept. And people, back then, we didn't really have the support that we have now, like with social media. So again, as I said, my coach was quite old school. He was about 70, so it was harder really to talk. But look, he knew his stuff. He'd been around for a long time. So
he competed then?
Oh yeah, back in the day in the UK, and he was part of the IFBB in New Zealand. So I came back to Australia, stacked on this weight, and also, you know, when you move countries, and it's just that resettling. You know, not working. I came back as a student. So I was corporate for 15 years. I came back as a student, had to come back home. So after being away for 15 years, it's just like...
Whereabouts in New Zealand were you?
I was in Auckland.
Oh, yeah.
So
kind of one of my hometowns.
I loved Auckland. I love Wellington too, because Wellington, just so much character.
Yeah, well,
that place.
It's got a bit more going.
But the wind was just a killer.
Oh, yeah.
I hated that. But, had some fun times. I loved Auckland.
Yeah. I've only been to Queenstown.
Oh, that's epic.
Nice place.
Very nice.
It's not a bad place.
We drove to the airport, but not the Queenstown airport.
Christchurch or something?
Maybe it was Christchurch.
Yeah, Christchurch is beautiful.
A long time ago, But the drive, I remember the drive was, oh my God.
You don't want to take your camera because you'll be stopping every 2 seconds.
There's nothing like it. It's so beautiful. So it was a blessing in disguise moving to New Zealand. No, if I'd gone to the UK, it would have been just repeating what I did in Melbourne. You know, there wouldn't be career progression, but New Zealand was career progression, and you know, it's closer to Australia. So it was a good experience. So when I came back, so I blew out, so I stacked on a lot of weight, and I kind of fell out of love with bodybuilding, and I was trying to find something, and you know, I tried different gyms, and I wasn't happy. My sister, who was boxing at the time, she introduced me to a place in Wollongong where there was strongman, and she said, you should come and give this a go, something different.
What was that gym?
That was Rock Solid.
Okay, I remember you when you were training there.
Back in
big boys there.
Big boys, back in Untitled. So that was an eye-opener, because back in the day when I first started bodybuilding, my sister said, you should get into powerlifting. I said, I want to do that shit. I was so vain. I was like, no, that's not for me. And then I came over and I got into the strongman, which was good because it's a different sort of sport altogether. It's, you know, with the lifts, you've got so many different things, and there's also Highland Games, which I did as well.
Oh, what's the Highland Games?
Highland Games, there was two guys, Rob Mitchell and Stephen Henry, so they own Highland Games, I think Illawarra. Yeah. So there's like the caber toss.
Oh, yeah, you haven't seen that up at
Bundanoon,
that's
so good.
Wild.
And they've got
a full caber?
Yeah, so you had to like lift up this caber and then like toss it.
It's like a lamppost for people that don't know. It's fucking ridiculous.
But it's just the angling and holding it. What else did we do? There was a Hugel stone carry. There was like, there was so many.
How far is the stone carry, do you remember?
It was long, like 10, 20 metres. And it's heavy.
Yeah, it's not just an ordinary rock, is it?
And all these Atlas stones. What else were Highland Games? I think some toss over the bar. With some...
Like a keg?
Not a keg. There was a keg toss, but this thing was like, you know, the hammers that they used to throw, but just like a piece of concrete with a hook, and you had to throw it over. Yeah, so that was interesting. So we did that as well.
In a kilt?
I didn't wear the kilt, but the guys did. Yeah. But I did the practice, so I didn't compete in the games, but I did the training. And then I was doing the strongman stuff as well, and I'd competed in quite a few. Like there was a log press, there was the Conan's wheel. What else did we do? The medley, which is log press, Atlas stones. There was so much. And I really enjoyed that one as well. Actually, pulling, so with some sleds, I had two mates. It was Biffo and Dean, and they brought their motorbikes, so we had to pull these motorbikes on sleds as part of strongman. So it was like really good because it's a different sort of strength, and it just smashes your CNS.
Oh, for sure.
But it's just, you know, that the training for that as well, it's not your typical, lifting dumbbells and things of that. Compounds.
Yeah.
Well, you would do some compounds to help with the lifts, like a log press. Yes, you'd press overhead press. You're also deadlifting, like axle bar deadlifts and those massive wheels as well.
Yeah.
And like a farmer's carry, holding 2 massive kettlebells or 2 dumbbells and just walking up and back.
Yeah.
So a lot of trap strength and lots of different techniques and
So you fell in love with it after that?
Well, it was good because it was different, and I was again a bit self-conscious because I stacked on this weight, but because I was really enjoying training. So again, once you start getting your metabolism back in sync after a period of time, so things started to balance, and the powerlifting came later that year. Because we're doing deadlifts and I was quite strong with deadlifts. And it's like, okay, there's a national deadlift comp with Capo, and that was 2010. I was like, okay. We did a novice comp first, and I had some good numbers. Bench was okay, but deadlift and squat were pretty good. And I thought, okay, I'll give it a go, and I broke the record. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
What was the record?
Year. Oh, look, back in the day, this is like 11 years ago.
Yeah.
So the record was probably about 140 kilos, which is like nothing. Girls are repping that now. Like the benchmark today is 200, 220.
Wow.
So, again,
girls.
depends on what federation.
Yeah.
But they've come a long way since then. So that's how I got into powerlifting. And I think, again, where that journey took me, I think was one of the best things, because it breaks up from the bodybuilding and it gives you that advantage over other athletes, because the way that you train with all those compounds, you build a lot more thickness and size compared to a lot of just strict bodybuilding.
Yeah, I think Arnold said that, didn't he, back in the day?
Oh, absolutely. Because like Franco used to do all those strongman stuff too, like lifting the little minis and things.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. There's some photos of that.
Oh, yeah. I think I did remember one time pulling a truck.
Oh, shit.
Yes. Yeah. So that's, all these, like, you'd be there and,
Yeah. So what's your diet like for powerlifting?
I'll be honest.
Everything?
When I first started, look, I did have a good understanding of nutrition, but again, on comp day, you want fast digesting foods. You can't be sitting there having, obviously a good hearty breakfast, but on a comp day, the nerves as well. So you want quick acting. So a lot of lollies, Gatorades, amino acids, obviously pre-workouts back then, bananas, dried fruits, things like that. But, if I was going in for a max lift with bodybuilding with strongman or powerlifting, I'll be honest, I used to have 1 or 2 donuts beforehand. There'd always be lollies. If it was max testing, I'd be eating quick-acting carbs to replenish the glycogen. Because it's a long time between each lift, 5 minutes. You want to keep your energy up high.
Yeah.
So it wasn't as good as, say, now, as a bodybuilder. But,
So what's your diet like in comparison now?
Very clean. But it's taken a while. Look, it is...
So do you stay clean? Or
no. I'm all the way or nothing. Like, I like indulgence.
Yeah.
I don't like to be strict and regimented all the time.
Yeah.
Life is for living. And I've never... Obviously, during comp prep, I'm very strict. But when I'm off season, more balanced. Like, I do generally eat clean because, again, it's part of my work. If I'm working with clients and they see me, say, at the supermarket, and I've loaded up my, basket with crap, I'm not setting a good example. But it also affects my energy levels.
Yeah.
And also...
what about now, because you're older? Like, do you feel it more? Like,
eating clean, look, I think it's also about just health and well-being, mental well-being. You don't want to be having too much high GI sugary foods because you're going to be having highs and lows and crashes and you get irritable and tired. So I want low GI, sustainable energy, and that works well for my body. And it's also, I'll be honest, aesthetically, when you're eating clean and you're nourishing your body, you're going to be looking better. If someone's having a lot of Coke and refined sugars, chips and takeaway KFC, it's going to affect... complexion, I'll be honest.
Everything.
Yeah. And mood and well-being. Like, I don't want to be, snappy and irritable and, like, tired. You want to be, good, sustainable energy, clear, want that clarity as well, with thought and when you're working. So food is going to nourish the body and also the mind.
Yeah.
So I'm a big one with clean eating. But when I do indulge, I time it so it's around, training or on the weekend. Like what I'm doing these days, like every Saturday I've been going out. But when I do indulge, it's top shelf. Like I'm not going to be going to KFC. So my palate doesn't like that. Like
okay.
I used to love it. Like
KFC or
all that
all
stuff
of
at
it?
McDonald's now it stinks to me
Yeah.
as I've gotten on. Fucking Subways makes me want to vomit. What the fuck is that smell?
I only go to McDonald's for the coffee.
Is that right? Is it?
It's not, but if I
It's
want
easy.
a quick coffee, that's the only.
yeah.
Just a large cap.
I got we went on a little break. My brother, he came up from Melbourne, to food, and I've been off bread for a while, but he brought up this
love bread.
Oh,
Was it sourdough?
It was the best
I do
sourdough
like
I've
sourdough.
ever had. There's some
Stop.
Jewish bakery down
Yeah.
there, and there's like queues at like
Was that in
7
Balaclava?
I think it might have been. Oh my
Epic bakeries
Is it?
there. Love it.
this
Yeah,
bread.
right.
It
I
was
live
like
close
black
there.
on the outside, but it wasn't burnt. And
That's a rye.
yeah, it was like a sourdough rye, and then they had all these. It was like a big circle that had been cut into all these buns, and you just pull it and they stretch it.
Oh, yeah. And it's fresh too, and the smell of bread.
Oh shit!
my
But
God.
and also because
So
I went
why
off
is-
bread because I feel shit after it. I didn't feel shit.
because it's sourdough.
Yeah, sourdough is good.
What? And
Why
good
is
flour.
it good?
I'll tell you why. If you look at the bread at Coles, okay, back when I was growing up, you'd buy bread, within 2 or 3 days it gets mouldy.
Yeah.
You buy bread from, say, what is it, Sunblessed, or that multigrain bread that's supposed to be healthy from Coles or Woolies, more than a week there has been no mould. So there's a lot of preservatives, a lot of additives that have been added to that bread. And the process of the farming has changed as well. So the sourdoughs, they are more expensive in price, but, the quality, the fermentation, it's better on the gut as well.
Yeah. What
So
is
you
it?
don't feel bloated.
Do you know what it is in the fermentation that?
Fermentation, fermented foods like sauerkrauts and pickles are good for gut health as well. So they're prebiotics, so they will help with colonising the good bacteria in the gut. So that's important, yeah.
Have you? Do you know much about the? So you, I don't know how to explain this, but I've heard it in different ways. But so your gut is sending messages to your brain.
The
to tell
gut
you
is
to eat shit.
it's parasympathetic, so it is in line. If we're feeling moody or depressed, it's our second brain. And
Yeah, it is. Isn't it? There's actually
Absolutely.
neurons in the gut. So there's actual brain cells in the gut.
Yeah.
And the whole thing, you got a gut instinct.
Yeah, that's right.
It's a fucking real thing.
It is,
man,
yeah.
like you look at someone, you got a gut instinct, they're a bad dude.
It's your
Listen to
second
your
brain.
gut.
Well,
It is.
Males have got 3 then.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's absolutely like if people are emotional or they're stressed out, it's like, often when they're nervous or anxious, they get butterflies. So it does. It's a good way to sense.
And
So-
it's you can kind of teach it to like better foods, can't you?
Well, that's more training the
Great.
mindset, I think. And I work with my clients on doing that. You need to address why. Is it stress? Is it boredom? Or is it a deficiency in your diet? That you want to create, you're craving these foods. Women certain times of the month, so that's hormonal as well. So there's many different reasons. But if it's just in boredom or emotional, then you need to address that problem first, rather than using food as crux.
I find that if I'm busy, like I've now
won't
started.
eat.
Yeah, I've now started just stopping eating on Wednesdays. I'm like, fuck, I'm just not going to eat on Wednesday. I'll do a juice or something.
Do you fast?
Yeah,
fasting is good.
And it's fucking, I feel heaps better, man.
Yeah.
From it. And but I noticed I'm just a chocoholic and all that. But it's a boredom thing. You go to the cupboard.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, what the fuck's in here? And it's the easiest thing. It's
think
like, there's chocolate there. I'll have that.
I like the mouth pleasure.
Well,
Yes, I do
pleasure.
too. We
You know
all
what
like
I mean?
pleasure.
You just
For a
like
different pleasure.
you just want to part, like something that tastes good for that.
Oh, I'm the same, yeah.
Well, it's.
Yeah.
I've heard it's. I don't know. Sheldrak's saying. Oh no, it's this guy Robert Wilson that it's especially in America with this obese thing. It's a substitute for sex. People aren't getting this
Serotonin.
pleasure. So they're trying to get it from the food and they're not get it from the interactions with people. They
People have to start putting out more.
Well, that's it.
Well, more fucking, man. Free love.
Absolutely. Sex for everyone.
Start a petition.
They had it right in the 60s. And they fucked it up.
Well, we need a revolution, and it's going to come full circle.
It will.
I think
I hope
so.
I'm alive for that.
It's happening now. Just need to get on that train.
Yeah. So how do you, if you've got like a new client come along, how do you like say, all right, I need to get you on this decent path of eating right and training properly?
Well, we go through an assessment to see what their goals are, what they want to achieve. But I have worked and coached clients on that. So it's a touch base weekly, or maybe two times a week, and it creates accountability. So when they start logging everything they eat, and they can see, and it's also educating them too with what they're eating and how that affects their mood and energy, and also with their goal. Is that going to help you achieve that goal, or is that setting you back? So it's about teaching them that, what you do is going to lead you or, hold you back from that goal. Yeah. So it's a matter of just, again, getting into the mindset and understanding why, and trying to break those behaviours. So finding what the triggers are, and then stopping before they, indulge. Yeah.
Into that shitty food.
Well, just being busy, like even just not watching TV. There's other things you could be doing, man.
Absolutely.
Because when you're sitting TV, you want to eat some popcorn or something.
Absolutely, yeah.
But it's like you were saying, like everything in moderation, including moderation. And if you're going to have a blowout, have a fucking good blowout.
Absolutely,
Eat that bit of cake and really enjoy it. Don't stress out about it. That's because that's another thing.
There's no guilt. No
guilt. That guilt eating, that shit, because you're not even getting the proper pleasure. From it, because there's a backlog of I shouldn't be doing this, and that's fucked.
And that creates unhealthy behaviours as well. So it's like if I indulge, it's top shelf, and I enjoy it because it's that pleasure.
What is your favourite at the moment?
Well, it's always oysters.
Yeah.
I love.
Holy shit!
Yeah.
It's not even that bad, really.
I fucking love oysters.
You've been down. We just found this place down on the Shoalhaven River.
My mum picks them up and brings them back to me.
This place, they shuck them fresh there in front of you down on Woodford. And this I should have bought the shell, and it's the size of this. hand.
I know, they're amazing.
They're fucking gigantic.
Jesus.
Oh man, they are the bomb.
Yeah, wow,
fantastic.
Yeah. So what do you go to a certain place?
Well, where they used to have seafood buffets. Back prior to COVID, I'd be like, the seafood would be just like 50, I think was my max one time.
Wow. Just a little bit of salt on there, or
lemon juice, salt. I like the natural. I don't like the Kilpatrick's or the Mornay. But so there's been other places. I think they've had some red vinaigrette, shallots, and they'll put some wine. So other places may do it more fancy.
I found
Japanese too. Ponzu.
What I've done, these huge ones, a bit of that seaweed, not the nori, but the
kelp.
It's like a kelp. It's a really bright green, little threads. Put that on, then get some salmon roe, like the eggs.
I love roe. The caviar is delicious.
That, and then some sesame oil on top of that.
Mirin.
Drop of that. Oh, holy shit! You're in heaven.
Yeah. So,
Matt's a chef. If you can't tell,
I was back in the day. But
So definitely like oysters or big steaks. Like, where did I go?
Are these bad?
Not really, no. But we had Italian. So this was last Saturday. So it was scallops as well. Had some bruschetta, some tuna carpaccio, and a bit of dessert. So that's my indulgence. Cakes, I do have a sweet tooth.
Fairly clean, really.
Yeah, pretty good.
All right, look. But again, we're talking the quantity. So, I'll have quite a few little entrees.
Yep.
And again, I'll go to Thai, somewhere in Barangaroo in Sydney. But prior to that, octopus as well.
Yeah, wow.
Mediterranean style.
I love octopus, but I felt really bad after watching that octopus documentary.
What documentary?
My Friend the Octopus. Yeah. They're fucking smart animals, man. They are really super. They got 8 brains. Talking about a gut brain. They've got a brain per fucking
tentacle
or something like that. Plus their main ones. And interviews these scientists. Well, there's another thing came out after that, and the scientist saying they were doing tests on octopus, and he goes, you walk into the lab and you got fish and all this. They don't even know you're fucking there, but the octopus is eyeballing you, and he's pissed off and he wants to go fucking home. And this one octopus would just spit at him the whole time. He walked past and would spit at him. So I actually stopped. I love octopus, but I've kind of stopped it. I don't know with the morality of it. I'm not sure,
aren't they?
It kind of freaked me out.
If they were from another, like if.
Well, they're aliens, aren't
they?
We're aliens. Something's fucking wrong.
Yeah, they're crazy. There's a YouTube video of one escaping out of a porthole of a ship.
Yeah,
you seen that one?
No. Yeah,
it's tiny out. And it's just like, fuck this. And it gets stuck because its mouth, the beak.
Oh, but no. Did they let it out?
It does get out, but it kind of gets jammed and then it wriggles off. But
well, they can get
it's
through
crazy.
holes that are smaller than their actual bones because they do have a bone, a bit of cartilage, but they can manipulate it to get through there.
That's amazing.
Even the jar. Have you seen the jar? And it
undoes the jar.
Yeah, from the inside.
Can open a jar up and all that.
They're very fucking smart, really.
Yeah, freaky animals, man.
Yeah. So if you're going to eat clean for your competition, I've heard. So I used to work with this guy who did a few comps, and he goes, "I was that sick of eating tuna, I was finding new ways of eating tuna."
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So he was putting it in a blender with Diet Coke and just.
Look, I'm all about tastes, and I think I'm quite innovative with my cooking. So the way I was getting, I was having a lot of pumpkin because pumpkin's quite rich in fibre. So I was boiling it up, and I'd only use Kent pumpkin because it's sweet.
Yeah, okay.
And I'd boil it up, puree it, and then I'd mix vegan protein. I'm not vegan, but I've got a lot of allergies, so I use vegan protein. So I put like a chai or a salted caramel, and I'd mix that together, and a bit of gelatin, and set it like a dessert. So I was getting high protein, and pumpkin's low carb. So that was another meal I'd have probably until 3 weeks out. I have sweet potato. I'd make them pancakes because I'd use egg whites, and that's just egg white and sweet potato, so protein, carb, and a teaspoon of, say, cinnamon or vegan protein powder. So that's the way I would, try and get some variety.
Yeah.
So look, the chicken and broccoli, that's so old school. I don't think I had any broccoli this time.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, so I had different things like, chicken, turkey, whitefish. I had kangaroo up until 3 weeks. Kangaroo always works for me.
Do you like kangaroo?
Love kangaroo.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
So good. So lean.
Yeah. Do you get the herb and garlic one, or do you make your own?
I was using the herb and garlic, but then I had to wash that seasoning off because of the sugars.
Oh, it's because
all the sauces and stuff.
Yeah, I've never read it.
But like off-season kangaroos are a staple.
Yeah.
Today, after I left you, I had I made burgers. I thought, you know what? I got home at 3. I was starving, so I got some kangaroo patties. I had a low-carb bun. And just like decked it out with, beetroot, mushroom, tomato, bit of hummus, and sweet potato fries. So
that sounds good.
Yeah, that sounds pretty
good.
good to me. I'm getting hungry.
Yeah, but just during prep, like I was having a lot of greens. I was having, things like okra. I would just eat sugar snaps like nothing because, again, that crunch factor.
Yeah,
so
something's happening, isn't it?
Yeah. So for me, I didn't crave because my food was quite balanced.
Yeah.
And you stay focused on, I've been doing this so long.
Yeah.
So
is there a peak and a trough like our mate Mark, who's not here, but what his shirt on?
His shirt is nice shirt.
His shirt's on. This is his old one.
Very sharp shirt.
Yeah, he's got a fight in a week, 23rd of April on
road trip
Fox.
down to Canberra.
We're going down to watch him fight and do a bit of filming. But so obviously for fighters, he's got to drop weight, get to a certain weight to fight. Is there something similar that you go through for bodybuilding?
Carmen my sister was the same back in New Zealand. Look, I was going for a national title. She was going for a national title in Muay Thai, but she also did boxing.
Yep.
So I had to help her with her weight as well. So clean nutrition.
Yeah.
And again, the timing and just enough carb again so that she's got that fuel to train. So again, it's all about preparation, how you are in the off season, what your weight is. And it's also with boxing and also powerlifting, you can cut that water. So it's either you sit in the sauna, which is not the best, unless you've got a 24-hour weigh-in, then you can rehydrate.
Yep.
Or that you do the water manipulation by drinking like 8 litres over 3 days, then dropping it down.
How does that work?
Oh, wow, really?
So what essentially happens, and I've done it, it tricks the body. So generally I will drink 4 litres a day.
Oh, that's a lot of
I should be, but I don't, maybe about 3.
Yeah.
So you get up to 4 litres when you're prepping. So in the peak week, boxers will do this as well in the powerlifter. So we'll double it to 8. So you're drinking 8 litres for 3 days, and then you drop it down to 4. So your body is getting into the mode of pissing out a lot of water. So you're down to 4, then you cut it down to 2, so it's still pissing, and then you cut it down to 1, and then you cut it out half an hour, 12 hours before comp. So it's retrained one of the hormones. And you're flushing the body. So it's pissing out all this water, and that's how you essentially dry out.
Wow.
Yes. So it's that water manipulation as well if you don't want to use diuretics, because diuretics, again, work to help the body excrete that water.
Is that the same as wine as well, a few days out? Or?
Vodka, no.
Oh, vodka?
Vodka the night before, that's my staple.
Ah, yeah. How much vodka?
Only 2 shots.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, that's enough. I don't get
That's
pissed.
enough to
That's
dry
enough.
you right out.
I tried it in my off season, so during my certain nights out, I'd looking at myself the next morning like, gee, I look really good. But like because I was drinking vodka, I only drink vodka. Oh, I should drink other things too, but vodka is the best because I'd wake up and be just dry as.
Yeah, wow. So is there a weight limit per category? I'm guessing like
For bodybuilding?
Yeah.
Not in my division. Back in the day when I first started, there was under 55, over 55.
Yeah. Okay.
And some other federations like under 52, they were like really tiny.
Yeah.
But the men there is, like there'd be like under 65, 75, 85, going up to
All the way up.
under 100, over 100. But women, generally not anymore.
So why bodybuilding? Like,
Why?
yeah, I want to. This is going to help me with our edit. We're doing a bit of a promotional videos.
Yep.
So yeah, this will definitely help.
Definitely. So why did I start with bodybuilding?
Yeah.
So with me, as I said, I was always quite athletic. With swimming, then obviously, had enough, 18, you start partying. And it was only until I moved to Melbourne and I had a close gay friend and he said to me, like, Lou, you're really slender, but your ass is starting to sag.
Oh.
And I was like...
And he got away with it.
And I was like 22 at the time. I was like, oh, fuck, okay, I better start training. So I joined a gym because I was just doing cardio. And I wasn't eating that much. I'll be honest, I used to smoke back in the day. So I wasn't eating that much, smoking, partying. And then I started training and just worked on my physique. So it was more, the aesthetics because, again, partying in Melbourne.
Yep.
So it was really to look good on the dance floor, I'll be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like then there's that step. Like what
step?
made you make that step to go, right, I want to get
Back
pumped.
in Melbourne where I was training, there was a lot of bodybuilders at this gym and I had friends that's like, oh, you should compete. I was like, no, I'm not. I don't want to compete. You've got the shape for it. I was like, no. But, when you're young, it's like, it doesn't really, stick. And I think it was only after a couple of years. So I'd moved to New Zealand. So when I moved from Melbourne, I was supposed to go to the UK, met the Kiwi, moved to New Zealand. So I went through the motions, stacked on all this weight, moving countries, looking for a new job. And then it was just like trying training. I was running, ended up getting shin splints, so that wasn't for me. I was boxing, too slow. No coordination. I was told by this boxer, Cameron Todd, back in New Zealand.
I remember Cameron Todd.
He goes, you couldn't knock the fluff of a cappuccino. I was like, I was so embarrassed. I was just like, oh my God. So then I went to Muay Thai. So all right, I'll give this a crack. So I went to one place.
Was your sister already training there?
No, she was doing Muay Thai over in Sydney.
Okay.
And I thought, I'll give it a crack. Went to one place, it was all right. And then I found a PT at Club Physical. So I was training with him. I ended up rolling my ankle because I had my runners on. And I was about to go to Thailand, so 6 weeks later. So,
Oh, no. To actually train over there, were you?
yeah, just more the experience because my sister was over there anyway.
Yeah.
And it was good to, get away for a holiday. And then trained over there, but just too slow. And it wasn't for me, but, I tried it. Then came back and, was experimenting with different diets like Atkins, went back to low carb. And then was a guy that I met over there who was a bodybuilder at one of the gyms. And then I started really just focusing on more bodybuilding, hypertrophy style training. And that's where I met my first coach, who was an IFBB judge at the time too. So this was at Club Physical in Mount Eden. And he said, I think, you've got the shape for it. I think you should give bodybuilding a go. I was like, okay.
And that's the federation you're with now?
I've always,
IFBB?
I've done, NZ IFBB in Australia. And, okay, so this was about 2006, 7. So I'd gone to different, I went with my boyfriend at the time and he was taking me to different coaches for nutrition and things. So, it was an eye-opener. It was a big, totally different experience because I'd gone from like eating nothing like a bird, low carb and then bulked up and it was just like big changes with the body.
Yeah.
And it freaked me out. But, you need to put that fluff on in order to grow. And I didn't realise that at the time, but you have to just let that go, like in order to bulk. It's the only way.
So what do you like? Do you like the discipline of it, or the challenge?
Definitely the challenge, just seeing how far you can push your body. But it's the mindset. I think if you train the mind, the body will follow. So you can teach anyone to train, but it's that mental that willpower, that discipline, that drive.
What's your mindset?
My mindset, I'm quite driven. I'm very motivated, and very driven and focused. So when when I have a goal in sight, then there is nothing that will stop me. Yeah, no stone unturned. Yeah.
Cool. That'll work. Heaps good. I was waiting for something
Absolutely,
good.
Yeah. So I leave nothing on the table. So for me, I've always been this, as a Gemini, all the way or nothing. There is no in between for me. So I'm either good or I'm bad. There is no in between. So when I know when it's time to flick the switch,
you're on.
It's on, and there's so much sacrifice, and I have to shut a lot of people out, and it's like just me.
But we were talking about that the other week, and it doesn't matter what you do. There's going to be sacrifices everywhere.
If you're going to do anything, you have to sacrifice.
It's got to be, you've got to give it 110%. There is not, I'm not there to participate, and I've always been of the mindset I'm there to win. I don't, restrict myself and, put my body under this amount of stress just to participate.
Yeah,
so it's all
and
about.
you flicked the switch 13 years ago and you had that fucking red line the whole
I've always
time.
had that fire. Look, there's been times where it's like, wanted to just give it up, and as I've gone back to powerlifting. So, there's been times where I've been a bit lost and disillusioned, but, I've always jumped back from powerlifting to bodybuilding, but still something competitive. The only time I've stopped is due to injury, and also last year, Corona. But then again, for me, my body needed a rest after the year before, because I'd done 2 big comps, and the rebound, my body wasn't responding. Look, I'm 44 this year, so it's harder when you get older. I'll be honest, it's hard on the body when you put your body under that much stress to get that lean. Yeah. And it's just like, no, 2 comps was enough. And I think, then blessing in disguise, everything started like lockdown, done. We weren't doing anything in 2020.
Yeah, I remember you posting videos on your balcony doing workouts.
Well, I did though.
Doing everything, whatever you could.
For me, I think, people say, it was one of the shittest years. I thought, actually, it was one of the best years of my life.
I think a lot of people focused on some shit.
I loved it.
We started this.
Yeah, we did it. Refocus. Why are you going to work so often? What's going on with you? Help people reevaluate their lives.
Absolutely. It did a lot of, just sitting down and just setting new direction.
Yeah.
So why did you wait this long to go pro? Like,
it's not about waiting this long. It's also, building that physique to be worthy. It takes time. Like, it's a marathon, not a sprint.
Yeah.
That's what I believe.
And how does going
true.
pro, so these competitions, they pay well? Like, how do
it's all for love.
It's all for,
I pay. The only thing that the pay is I'm the one that's paying myself. And I've always been of that mindset. Like, if you can't afford to compete, don't compete. If you don't have the financial, behind you.
But you've got a few sponsors.
The sponsors help me definitely with the supplements, yeah.
Do you want to share any?
Yeah, definitely BPM supplements with Greg. He's been very good. So the supplements that I use, definitely, and I've used through my prep. Yep. So again, it's about performance, recovery, and also reducing cortisol and stress. So
what supplements are you using?
And I also work for Nutrition Warehouse as well. So again,
sweet.
My background being quite holistic, and I've got the therapeutic side, but again, sports nutrition is a big one. So look, they don't replace whole foods. Nutrition is the number one, the most important. But it's also reducing that stress. It's also about better recovery, and it's also about filling the deficiencies within our diet. Look, unless we live in Byron Bay eating completely organic and you're not working, we're exposed to a lot of pollutants and toxins. So, there's a lot that you can take to help with better performance, immunity, and again, when you work long hours and you're in Sydney, like, I can't afford to get sick.
No,
and it's about that well-being
that's true.
too.
Yeah. What would you suggest for someone, working all the time, that not to get sick? What are some?
Look, again, it's the nutrition. It's also taking rest when need be. But again, it's hard if you aren't working those long hours. But definitely good multivitamin. But things like zinc, vitamin C, and anything that's going to help with boosting the immune system if they're starting to feel a bit sick. Echinacea is going to boost the white blood cell count. It all depends if it's upper respiratory. There's a lot of other herbs as well. But I love ginseng. Ginseng is a great herb. It's quite a good adaptogen, so it helps the body deal with stress, so it becomes more resilient.
I've only just, well, I'm not really in the supplement world, but I've only just really started hearing about ginseng.
Oh, ginseng's great. There's many different forms.
months.
Yeah, red ginseng. I used to take that.
The Korean ginseng,
The
that's
Korean
about
ginseng.
male performance.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
good to keep the wang up.
Oh, look, there's a lot for that. Yes.
Yeah.
Again, in my studies, I've looked into that one too. Yeah. So things like
You need some of this.
black maca, zinc, again, increasing free testosterone, tribulus, the ashwagandha, Indian ginseng as well, so that reduces cortisol. Because if your body's stressed out, then it's going to affect your testosterone levels as well. So, you want to minimize that.
So
cortisol.
what's cortisol for people that don't?
Cortisol
really
is
know?
stress, your stress levels. Everyone has a bit of cortisol, but if your cortisol is too elevated, that's not good either.
It's hard to lose weight then, isn't it?
Yes, definitely, because it's always around the midsection too. So
Yeah.
again, sleep. If you're not sleeping well, then the cortisol starts to rise. So
Yeah.
sleep is important because it's about rejuvenation and your recovery. Because when you sleep, natural growth hormones secreted, but it's also when we replenish and we grow. And you need that restfulness.
Do you think going to bed on an empty stomach would help that? Well,
Look,
I've heard
About
that,
an hour before,
Yeah.
would be my last meal. I would never go to bed. Sometimes I have. If
Straight
I've had a
up.
high sugary meal, then I've just had a sugar low and crashed out on the lounge. It's like, where am I at 2 o'clock in the morning? But it's best to let the digestive system work to break that food down. You can't be going to bed with a full stomach.
Yeah.
Many, many years when I was younger, I'd gone to bed with a full stomach and end up having nightmares because, not good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
right.
it can happen. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, because your body's trying to
Break down,
when you're sleeping. That's when the healing happens, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then, but if it's trying to digest all this food and that food,
That's right. So it's a lot of stress too.
Yeah,
So your brain wants to freak you out while you're sleeping because you're
eating cheese. Heard that one? Eat cheese.
No.
Fucking nightmares on cheese, man.
I don't know about
Try it.
cheese.
Yeah, man, it's a real thing.
Oh my god.
Yeah, all that. What's in the cheese? There?
Casein?
Yeah.
Ah,
But
what's that-
casein's a
what's
slow
casein?
release protein.
Yeah, I thought.
So people do use casein before bed. So it's a slow release to fuel the body while you sleep. But again, it's in a different form to the cheese itself. So a hard cheese has to be broken down. Yeah.
It's good that you know all this stuff because I didn't.
Nah. Have you heard of NMN? NMN? It's I've been taking that for I keep on forgetting. I'm shit house at taking pills. Actually, I've got high cholesterol, and they put me on the statin like 40
No,
milligrams,
get on
which
some
is like
CoQ10.
CoQ10.
Yes,
Yeah. Okay.
so that's
yeah,
really good.
I don't really want to take the statin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
CoQ10 is a good one to use. Vitamin B3, the niacin is also going to help with flushing the cholesterol. So I'm a big one, very holistic when it comes to that. Try and avoid any pharmaceutical.
Yeah, well, that's what I was,
Fossil.
and also because how long am I going to be on this for? For the rest of your life? Like, fuck off.
Like my mum's the same. I said, you need to clean up your diet. I get there to Wollongong, it's like the food is just in the cup. It's like, but you don't need to be on this. This is
Yeah.
only a short-term thing. You got to clean up that diet, but they don't. So
More leafy greens and things like that.
leafy greens. But what's also good for the cholesterol? The good fats as well.
Avocado.
Avocados, the oils like what were they, like hemp seed oils, and the nuts as well.
Yeah.
Fatty fish, the salmon. Yeah.
Do you do much broth? Do you
Love
fucking
bone broth.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I do too.
Bone broth is good because it's rich in collagen and again all those nutrients and the gelatin too. So gut healing.
Yeah.
And as we get older as well, just the tendons, ligaments, joints, and also to keep the skin supple. So bone broth, I think it's amazing. And I was drinking a lot of that during my prep.
Really?
I'd also
Yeah.
marinate my meats in bone broth
Yeah.
and then cook that up. Apple cider vinegar I love as
Yeah,
well.
yeah, yeah.
So all
Bone
that
broth,
stuff.
is that like beef pho? Like
Similar, yeah.
Yeah,
So
fuck, that
beef
stuff's
or
delicious.
chicken,
Yeah.
but even like
Yeah,
It
fish.
makes you feel way better. Like
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I have it and feel 10 times better.
Yeah.
So that sort of stuff through the day, just drinking that, just to nourish the body. And like I'd put a lot of herbs in as well, things like rosemary, parsley also quite good because it's like a natural diuretic, but rosemary is also good too for detoxification, ginger, turmeric, all those sorts of things too.
Have you tried the turmeric coffee?
I have a turmeric latte.
Yeah, right.
I have had
What's it like? Is it?
It's quite nice. It just stains the cup. That's the only. But I do like the taste, and it's quite warming. So it's a good one because you've got the spice as well, like the black pepper and the cinnamon.
Yeah. I had a turmeric shot my brother got me from that bakery.
Really?
And it was lime juice, turmeric, a few other like vinegars or something, and chili. Oh man, it was.
Is it turmeric or turmeric? Isn't
Turmeric,
there an R in there?
Curcumin, yeah, different names.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. But it's amazing. Yeah.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
I'm hungry.
I'm a bit too.
We should go to,
I was doing my fast today, actually, so I'm not on liquids.
Do you do any fasting?
I haven't. I have done it.
Yeah.
In the past, I did it. How many years ago? Probably about 5 or 6 years ago.
Yep.
I was following a nutrition plan, and I fasted for 2 weeks. So I would fast until 1 o'clock. For the photo shoots, I was fasting. So after the comp, I did a bit of fasting as well. But it doesn't work for my lifestyle.
Yeah, okay.
But I think it's great for cell rejuvenation, definitely. And also it works with some people's lifestyles too, because, you know, when people are on the go, and we get a lot of customers that come into the store and we talk about their lifestyles, how they start their day, you know. So it works for some people.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So you wake up and have breakfast?
The longest I'll fast these days is probably about an hour, because if I open the gym, then I'm up at 4:45, so I don't eat until I get to the gym, you know, do everything, and then probably 6 a.m. So 6 a.m. it would be the earliest I eat. But today, probably about 8:30, because I went for a walk down to the beach this morning.
Yeah.
So probably until 8 a.m. But the last meal 10. So
yeah.
what?
Would you say it's a good way to sort of get started into losing weight? Because you're just restricting calories, aren't you?
It's about restricting calories, and look, it's a bit of a kickstart.
Because I remember that's how I did it.
If you see the scales going down, you're like, oh, something's happening, you know. Whereas if you're on a fucking diet, nothing's going on, it can be pretty disheartening.
Yeah.
But it's also the water too. Are you drinking enough water? And generally people don't. And the first lot of weight they lose is the water weight. So you need to start flushing the body. So drink that water to help with moving things along.
Oh, so conversely, if you want to lose the water, you actually drink more water.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. So people say, oh yeah, I drink about 2 litres and then more, 3.
Yeah.
Because if you're drinking coffee, then that's a diuretic. So you need to have an extra glass to compensate for that.
I was watching this African doctor, and he was talking from the 80s. My brother sent it through to me. God, he was onto it with nutrition now. And he was saying, if you're eating, let's say, a raisin, he said, you eat that raisin, your body's got to turn that raisin back into a grape. So it's going to suck the moisture out of your body to turn that raisin back into a grape.
Wow.
And so if you're eating dried fruits, you need to be drinking a shitload of water.
Absolutely, yeah.
And if you're
I did not know that.
I didn't know
yeah,
that
well,
either.
it makes sense though, doesn't it?
It does, doesn't
if you're drinking fruit concentrates and that, you know, you always got to dilute them.
Would that be the
water.
same with like beef jerky?
Oh, fuck yeah. Yeah, basically anything like that.
Shit, I better stop eating beef jerky then and fucking up the
Start
water
drinking
intake.
more water. Yeah. Beer, I find out with beer, like, this is good stuff.
But not the burly big
Not the
heads.
burly big heads, waiting for our case. But just in general, with alcohol, have a drink, have a glass of water afterwards, man. And
That's what I usually do. When I go out and drink, I'll generally, alternate from mineral water to alcohol.
Yeah.
Yeah.
1 for 1.
1 for 1.
You don't get such a hangover, do you?
I don't these days because, I've hydrated. I always have a big glass of water and I'll have some electrolytes before going to bed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And a good, a multivitamin too, because it's going to help with replenishing what's been depleted. So I always have that. And then morning after, then, it depends. Again, top shelf.
Yeah,
If I'm
it makes
drinking,
a difference, doesn't
I
it?
have to, because I've had, vodkas and they've given me some cheap Russian standard crap. I was like, what is this?
Yeah.
And I've woken up
How'd
with
you go
a
in
killer
Thailand
headache.
then? Because they always give you the bottom of the barrel.
Let me tell you, I remember my last night in Patong, and I was drinking with the bar girls, and I had a flight the next morning, and I remember getting back to the room, walking back at 4 a.m, and it's like, fuck. And I woke up, the room was still spinning. It's like, I've got to catch my flight back to Sydney. This is great. Yeah, I don't know. What was I drinking? I don't know. I think I was drinking beers.
Yeah, okay.
Both beers, vodkas, anything. Oh no, Bacardi. Sorry.
Yeah, but is it really Bacardi?
Who knows?
From there?
Actually, no. I looked at the taste. I knew the taste.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, I do like Bacardi. So it's either Bacardi or vodka.
Well, I find that, because I like cocktails and that, but they always use the cheapest shit in a
hate that.
cocktail,
Yeah.
man. And
Yeah.
so the last hangover I had was because I was drinking cocktails and it was cheap shit, you know. So and they always do. You got to pay for it.
You do, yeah.
And that also stops you from doing it too often.
Yeah.
No, that's what you tank up before you leave.
Yeah.
That's what I used to do.
That's
Back when I was like 19, it was like Master Builders drinks or drinks at home, then Masters to top up, and then you go out and
it's
be one or two.
too.
It's cheaper.
Yeah.
Well, back in the 90s, it was very cheap.
Yeah. It would have been.
We were drinking water back in the 90s on the fucking dance.
Oh, yeah, that too,
Everything
yes.
was water, lollipops in your mouth.
Vodka Red Bull to start the night, and then it was water. But the waters were like $6.
Yeah. That's good. Everyone's on Eckies, man.
Yeah,
so-
and then they turned the taps off in
They
the
were all
bathroom
fucking hot.
to hot water.
Yeah, they did that.
Bastards.
I went to a few festivals and they took the fucking taps
So
off.
make you drink
like,
water.
so you couldn't-
Bast- I know.
You had to buy it.
Yeah.
They're onto it.
They're on.
Should be illegal. Where's Haley?
Yeah, that's right.
I know.
So are you coaching bodybuilding as well?
No, I'm not. I've had a few people that want to start prep.
Yep.
But I found my niche. I prefer general population, and
and
I've also got. I had a year 10 PE class that I was that I would look after weekly, and I had a golden class senior citizen because I work for council up in Sydney. So I have a good mix, and it's just general population I train, people that want to exercise. I think when I first started, it was like, no, everyone needs to train like a bodybuilder, then you need to do this, and this.
Yeah.
But let's be honest, like people aren't after a goal. They maybe just be exercising for stress relief. They just want to get in and just be active.
Yeah.
Not everyone's of the same mindset or, direction as you. So these days, general population.
Yeah. What does that workout entail like?
Oh, look, it could be just, a lot of cable machines, lighter exercises, just circuit, hit style workouts, circuit style training, just general strength. But again, it is tailored towards the individual because, again, they may not be conditioned. So you can't get them under a 60-kilo bench press.
No.
There'd be no strength.
Yeah.
So a lot of the machines.
Yeah, machines are becoming
Machines are
really
great.
good, aren't they?
Oh, yeah, TRX as well. And,
Yeah.
this... what was I using? Slam balls, kettlebells.
Yep.
A lot of the outside.
Do you like
training.
the kettlebells?
Well, when in lockdown, I bought a lot of kettlebells. So
Yep.
I think they're quite a useful piece of equipment. I don't do any of the cleans or anything of that nature, but
Swings and that, do you?
kettlebell swings, yes.
Yep.
But more deadlifts. I was using them for farmers carries.
Do you still deadlift now?
Not too heavy. No.
Yeah.
I did my back. When was it? 2012 in competition. I was going for 190 in comp, and I heard a noise, which was my back. That was my back, and I twisted my sacrum. So it wasn't.
Where's your sacrum?
So where your pelvis is, it's twisted like that.
Oh,
So that was
Just from the lift.
when I pulled it. I must have twisted slightly, but during that prep, when I was training up in the Sydneys, I trained without a belt. Because my core was quite tight, but I think the fourth lift I was fatigued, and I was going for already broken the record and wanted to add to that.
What was the record?
So
The Australian or?
the Australian record.
Yep.
So I was about 172.5. So my
How many
opening
records you got?
shitloads. World records, national records, and I still have the biggest bench under 75 in
I've
Australia.
seen you post that.
Still standing.
That's cool. So what's the other ones that you have?
Oh, look, I don't. I'm not up to date with
Okay.
the deadlifts and everything, but at the time, look, a majority of my bench records will still stand, but the deadlift and squat probably they've just long gone.
Yeah.
Because girls are so much
you're
stronger.
saying they're just.
But back in those days, like 170 kilos was big lift. So that was so 2012. Yeah.
It's not that long ago, really.
8, 9. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Not long at all.
Yeah, so the
pretty
noise. And then
Yeah.
what happened? Then I was getting ready for FitX, which was prior to the Arnold Classic in Melbourne. They had the festival, and it was called the Fitness Expo. And they had the Capo Invitational, so that was the bench press and 3 lift, or bench push-pull, so the bench and dead. So they call it push-pull.
Yep.
And I was preparing for that. Again, I think I must have had a flight with my partner at the time. I got pissed. And then the next morning I went to train. I wasn't 100%, and that's the thing. I should have listened to my gut.
Yeah.
I thought, fuck, no, I need to train because I've already scheduled this session. Went in there, wasn't feeling it, and the coach was getting pissed off. He goes, pick up this lift. You need to get this lift. So I pulled it up and then did my back in training, and that's when I blacked out. And that's when I
really?
did 2 discs.
Fuck.
Yeah, L4, no, 2, 3.
Blacked out from the pain?
Yeah.
Wow.
L4, L5, L5, S1. Yeah, and I went home to Wollongong from North Sydney and went into bed and laid in bed and rolled out the next morning after some Panadine forts.
Yeah.
And I was fucked. For months and months, just the pain. I'd never had anything like it. Yeah.
So that's your worst injury, I'm guessing?
That would be the worst, yeah.
What they do for that? Anything? Or?
A lot, soft tissue manipulation, physio, and had gone to osteo as well, just for the alignment. But rebuilding, again, my coach at the time, I won't name names, but just a bit disappointed because we didn't do much on the rehab on how to rebuild.
Yeah.
The thing is, I didn't train the legs for 8 months, and which is the biggest mistake. I should have done a lot of unilateral, just say split squats, things of that nature, or leg extensions, anything that didn't compress the spine.
So seated stuff.
Seated glute bridges,
Yeah.
hip thrusters, gentle, and rebuilding that core.
So what did you do? Just upper body stuff?
A lot of upper body, and that's when I revisited strongman again.
Yeah.
And I was training for that.
that doesn't really...
But controlled strongman, but I could still bench.
Yeah. I can't walk, but I can bench the fuck out of this.
But I could, because at that time, even though the inflammation was there, you can still bench with your feet up and your spine neutral.
Okay.
So there's no pain. Because again, I've did 3 discs in my neck. That was another. That would be number 2.
Yeah.
How'd you do that?
How? When I benched 140 in a shirt. So I'd gone to press, and then again heard the noise. I was like, I can't move my neck. That was at rock solid. So it was in equipped shirt. So the equipped is, think about a slingshot, compression gear. So you've got that assistance.
Yeah.
So you can bench a lot more. But the shirt wasn't breaking in at the time. You need to really just slowly ease yourself into that one. Yeah, so that's when I became a bench specialist. Yeah, so no more 3 lift comps after that. I tried, but the numbers were average. I can still squat now, but I don't want to aggravate that because I tend to get some
You're still
bit
not
of sciatic.
100% or something.
Oh, look, it is, but I just don't want to aggravate it because sometimes I get some sciatic. I also get piriformis syndrome as well, and it's just that pain, which is like sciatic pain all down the leg. So for 6 months of pain, and you can't even sit straight without pain.
Oh.
So it's not worth it.
No, for sure.
Yeah, I haven't really done me back then.
Oh, no.
Because fucking hell.
It's the worst.
Yeah. I've only just aggravated it here and there.
Yeah, no, so it wasn't the best, but
So that's 2 injuries, is that?
2 injuries? No, I've had more than that, yeah. But look, I think through injury you learn firsthand on how to rehab it, and also, it's not looking at what you can't do. It's like there's so much more that you can. So you've got to look, outside the box.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the next one after that, slight pec tear. So I had to pull out from a comp with that. And then rotator cuff. After I benched, when was it? So my biggest bench was December 2018. So I got 127.5 kilos at under 75. So I was about 72 kilos at the time. So I worked hard for that, and that was a big one because my bench prior to the year before was 120. Mm-hmm. And, as a master lifter, that was quite big. And then I pushed through, again, not listening, ego, I'll be honest. Sometimes it happens that you just push through. And it's just like, getting inflammation. It's like, it's nothing. Just, put a bit of deep heat on there. And then I got a shoulder impingement, getting some treatment, still pushing through. And it's like, you know what, this doesn't feel good. Then I pulled it. I said, no, I'm done. And then they said, there's slight tendonitis and things. And then I ended up tearing it.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah. So that was January 2019. I went back to bodybuilding.
So, and that's why you don't do bench press now?
Well, we benched today. I benched the bar. Yeah. Actually, I messaged a friend in Western Australia. I said, because he's a powerlifter as well, I said, guess what? I benched today. The bar. He goes, you're kidding. I said, look.
Hey, we're going to make it look good.
I'm starting to get back into it. Well, I think last year I was benching about 60 kilos, 60, 80. Mm-hmm. So it's slowly coming back. But again, as I get older, I'm a lot more conservative and I don't push it. Yeah. So if it doesn't feel right, I back away because I know, the detriment that causes. So it's not worth it.
Is that one of your favourites, bench?
It was my favourite, yeah.
Yeah.
So there's still hope. I'd like to come back because I did have one more goal with the powerlifting. I wanted to compete over at Russia at the Worlds, and I was supposed to do that because I did the Arnold Classic, Pro Raw, and I was.
Where was the Arnold at?
That was in Melbourne.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so that was good. So
was Arnie there?
He was there.
So he should be.
Because there was one, the first Arnold Classic in 2015, I won that one and I beat the
awesome.
the Ukrainian champion at the time. So that was quite a good one. Great comp. And then, I'd come back and compete.
Mm-hmm.
And then 2017, was it 2017, 2018? And then, end up tearing it. And I was like, no. But I'll come back.
Yeah.
I think it's fully rehabbed now. So I had to have a big break from it and just do a lot of dumbbell exercises.
Yeah.
But, shit
What
happens.
do you do for rehab? Are you altering your diet or anything like that? Or
For rehab of injuries?
yeah.
No, the diet's still the same.
Yeah.
But again, a lot of collagen. And I love incorporating a lot more collagen because as we get older, we lose that elasticity. And as I said, with the bone broth too, tendons, ligaments, joints. And we take a lot of protein to help with muscle recovery, but we don't do anything for our collagen and our tendons.
This is all good for our listeners.
Yeah, this is great.
That's it.
And so by eating collagen, it definitely gets into your body then.
Well,
like it.
I know that when they feel a lot stronger.
Yeah.
Nails, hair, skin, but also my skin when I've competed, compared to years gone by, I was a lot more drawn when I was depleted. This time around, not as much.
Okay.
But it just helps with that elasticity. Look, again, it's the 1%ers that definitely make a difference. And I've got access to that where I work. So, why wouldn't I use it?
Yeah.
And it's good, as I said, it's about nourishing the body. And, it is anti-aging. Who doesn't want to look good?
That's right. Yeah. We're all vain till the
Well,
grave,
getting-
aren't we?
Look.
Well, no, as you get older, it's like I want to fight this thing all the way through, man.
I do.
Fucking what's his name? Stallone. I'm going to be him.
Yeah.
I'll be fucking taking. Get me to 70, man. I'll take what the fuck ever.
Absolutely. As I said,
Yeah.
no stone unturned. I'll be there.
Yeah,
Fucking oath.
fucking A. It's better than dying, man.
We need
you know,
some
so-
good dealers, I think.
That's why I was talking about that NMN. I don't know if you check it out. David Sinclair is a guy, and it helps the mitochondrial DNA and stuff. And he's gotten fucking mice, the oldest mice in the world to run like 2 or 3 miles and stuff, just using this NMN stuff. And
How's it spelt?
it's mononucleotide or some shit like that. NMN
Is the acronym.
Yeah, I've got some. I'll show it to you. Yeah, so
It's kind of
it's a DNA repairer, and it's and fucking like he's
but he's
53 or 54 now.
He's the guinea pig, isn't he? Though it's not like
well, he's done it. He's done all the. Well, he's the one that discovered resveratrol.
That's great for cardiovascular function.
Yeah. Well,
and anti-aging as well. So grapes.
That's right. Well, he's the one that discovered that, and then he was trying to sell it or something. It all fell through, and then all these other scientists came and said it was crap and all that, and destroyed his life's work. And so he's come back and he did new tests on resveratrol. He was correct all along.
Yep.
It's fucking great for you. The French people live a long time.
Absolutely.
Shitload of red wine. And so I take that, and I feel great when I take it. And then his new thing is NMN.
Well,
And,
he's an Aussie guy, isn't he?
Yeah, he is from Sydney, man, but he's at Harvard now.
Yeah, go for it. Yeah.
So, anecdotally, he was saying his father was starting to get a bit of dementias and all that. Like he was pushing 80. He used to be a professor at uni and all that. And it was on the way out, pretty much, when someone gets their age. And he goes, right, Dad, I've got this shit. It works on the mice. What do you reckon? He goes, fucking give me some, So Dad came back out of retirement and is now working at Sydney Uni on their review panels and shit. All Dad's mates are fucking dying with dementia and Dad is fucking...
Just kicking goals.
Give me some
of that fucking...
And I think once you get to a certain age, death's coming. It's
Yeah,
not
yeah.
just so fucking...
But why when you want to prolong and quality of life?
That's right.
That's what it's about. You don't want to be laying in a bed, but if you can have a quality of life as long as you can, that's
I think the way we used to, like when I was younger, I used to think 50 you were fucked. Like,
mate.
your life's over
50.
50. And now it's
50s are
coming
like the
fast.
new 30.
Yeah, it's...
Yeah. I remember when I was an apprentice and my head chef turned... he turned 30 and I thought he was an old prick. Look at this old prick, 30. And then again, he kind of was. You know, like there was,
definitely.
It was a mindset, because I'm, a couple of years older than you. And, now looking at someone like Stallone who's 75 or something, he looks fucking great.
I know.
So why wouldn't you?
I'm embracing. Like I'm 44 this year. I've got friends. My coach is 49, and women that are in their 50s. Like they're embracing it. Like why? It's
also,
about how you look after yourself and preserve.
And this is the car you're driving. So why wouldn't you put fucking good fuel in it? and you want a racy car,
Yeah.
don't you?
So
know?
that's definitely my philosophy, and that's what I say to clients that come in. So, why would you put shit fuel in a car?
Yeah.
Do you want a Ferrari or do you want a Ford?
That's the annoying thing I find about it, because fuel's expensive, and like if you,
I'm willing to pay that price
I
to
think
nourish the body. Yeah.
everyone should, but I think maybe there should be more tax breaks for
Yeah, I
things
think so.
like broccoli and things like let's get our kids healthy and get it.
Yeah.
The healthcare system is buckling under the weight. But like this one thing about COVID, it kind of pissed me off. It's all about vaccines, staying home, but there was no real talk about getting healthy.
About prevention.
About prevention.
And all the holistic side, but again, because there's no farmer involvement there. That's why.
It's fucking farmer, right? Even in Australia with our Medicare, they got long tentacles and they can't really sell you broccoli. They're not.
No, that's
broccoli
right,
sellers.
because it's not making that money.
Yeah, and that was it's really disappointing, because that's the most obvious thing, isn't it? Our body's designed to fight these things. We might need help along the way, but fucking the biggest
Is prevention,
food
but
is
also
medicine,
with the food and also your well-being, just to help with.
out in the sunlight, for Christ's sake.
Exactly.
That's what they did in the Spanish. Spanish flu should have been called the American flu. It actually came from America. And it's only a Spanish sailor got it, or some shit, and they call it Spanish flu, but it was actually the USA flu. But but if you see the wards they had back then, they were all outside. They knew to get these people out in the sunlight, vitamin D. It's fucking great.
High doses of vitamin D.
Yeah.
To keep the immune system strong.
Same with Corona, aren't they?
Well, that's what we're talking about.
Oh, okay.
And how
Just
there's
a
no-
wee and come back fucking stupid.
What do you mean, come back stupid?
Yeah, stupid never left.
So and so you're a nutritionist, or you work in a nutrition?
Well, no, I work for Nutrition Warehouse, which is more
okay,
sports nutrition, but again, they have a lot of organics and therapeutics. But I did study nutritional medicine, so all the therapeutics and
it's great
things
stuff,
over the years, because I come from organic health food stores, and that's where my passion is. So when I left corporate, that's when I came back to do my PT, but I also started working with health food.
Yeah.
And that's where I wanted to make a difference and helping clients again, because I've also had a lot of allergies growing up. So I've had a lot of experience with the therapeutics and using that over the years myself. So I'm a big...
So you know what you're talking about. Well, we had a guest on again. He was telling us some things about the farming practices. We're talking about a good sourdough and that, and about how they actually use Roundup, and it's not used.
That's right. Yeah,
just to kill
Monsanto. Yeah,
Monsanto. It's not actually used to kill the weeds in that, because it's actually not that good at it really. It's used to bolster the fruit at the end. So like 2 weeks before they pick it, or the weed or whatever, they sprayed a whole fucking lot with this shit.
Yeah,
and then that gets into our whole food supply,
right.
and also. What it does, the Roundup, how it kills the weeds, it stops them from producing these hormones that the weeds need. But the crops don't. They actually produce Roundup free crops, as in like the wheat can handle Roundup. But that's because that wheat does not actually produce these hormones and nutrition that we need. So this shit is like there's a guy, an American doctor, I was watching him, and he was putting everyone on vegetarian diets and that. He was in the Midwest, man, and everyone's just obese and fucking sick. And he wrote these diets out, and only 50% of his clients got better, and the rest got worse. And he just didn't believe it. He goes, "This is bullshit. You guys are cheating. You're not eating." And they weren't cheating. But then he actually went and paid and got their carrots and broccoli and that tested for nutrition. There was fucking no
devoid of
nutrition. Devoid.
Yeah.
And so you really need. Yeah, it should be. The fucking shit should be illegal. But Monsanto are huge, and they're even owned by a bigger company now. And
who are they owned by now?
A big Swiss company. Might be Bayer, the medicine people.
They're getting Pharma, Big Pharma.
Yeah, Big Pharma. And who owns Big Pharma is fucking Bill fucking Gates.
Bill Gates, there you go.
Fucker again, man. And it's not conspiracy. He's fucking...
exactly. No,
he's the largest landowner in the United States.
In farm, that's right.
Why the fuck does this computer geek own all this farmland, man? And he's doing it in India.
It's all about control.
Yeah. And he wants everyone... Yeah, well, Monsanto, like... With the Roundup, it kills bees, this thing.
And we need bees.
Yeah, we do, yeah.
And we know...
Watch the bee movie.
That's right. And fucking no. Classic movie. And
but
the people saying, it just happens to kill bees. But I don't think it does. It's fucking designed to. If you're a CEO of a company, you like... I remember fucking years ago, I used to sponsor a kid over in Africa and all that. And then the thing came on and it said, why don't you send them some seeds? And it was from Yates. Well, that's a bit weird. Okay, I'm getting this, kid putting through school, whatever. And then I checked out Yates. Turns out Yates seeds don't propagate. You give them Yates tomato seed, and the tomato is only a fucking one-off. Then they got to buy the seed from Yates again. So what they were trying to do is get rid of all the local African fucking seeds that have been grown for 30,000 years or whatever, and fucking get them stuck on this genetically modified shit. That's how evil these fucks are.
Yeah, GMOs.
And they want to kill the bees because then you'll have to buy their fucking GMO seed that doesn't need the bees. Like, it's fucking heavy stuff.
That's
fun.
Yeah.
It's a battle coming.
People are just pieces of shit, aren't they?
Well, systems are.
A lot of people.
It's just greed. It's about controlling greed.
And that's but the system, like if the CEO of Monsanto didn't do that, he'd get fired. Someone else coming that would do it because it's about profit margins. The whole system. I think generally people are all right, but also that if you're living in you're a rural family or something like that, you don't know any normal people.
That's right. And again, there are the higher echelons.
Yeah, they're completely enclosed in their own universe. They're all scumbags, everyone else. They can all... Aren't they supposed to be on front lines dying or something? I've seen that photo with Prince Philip. I just saw it now, and he's fucking walking with all these Nazis at his sister's funeral.
What?
His 4 sisters were all Nazis. They all married Nazis.
Fucking hell.
And there's a photo of him, and he's a young guy, so he's probably had to be there, but he's walking with the Nazis, like he's... hanging out with these fellas. So.
Fuck.
I don't know how we got onto that, but yeah, it was me.
That's how we roll.
That's how we roll.
Oh my God.
So there's a lot going on. It all comes down to nutrition. And
it does, yeah.
And this is the car. How are you going to fight a revolution or something if your car's full of fucking bad diesel, So,
but yeah, again, it's about dumbing down people so they're easier to control.
It is. That's exactly what it's about. And the conspiracy. Oh, it's a conspiracy theory, and this doesn't matter what the fuck you say. It's a conspiracy. You can just forget that person. It's the one word to rule them all.
It is, isn't it? Yeah, makes you kind of
it's
what's the word?
Like calling them Russian or something like that.
Yeah, commie.
They're Russians, commies.
Fucking commies. Fucking most people don't even know what a communist is.
Most people would love being communists. Like, we don't have to go to work and we get fucking free food and power, free housing. Like, especially now in Wollongong, where houses are $1.5 million for a shitbox.
Yeah, our money is worth fuck all.
And yet people still get paid fuck all. Money's worth nothing.
Do you know, I heard that at work actually. They're like, oh, we're on pretty good money. I'm like, yeah, but everything's worth a lot more.
Yeah.
Like, how can we be on good money if everything is fucking double the amount?
Whereas Dad he worked back in the 80s and that, and he bought a house for 30 grand. He was on 20 grand a year, so that's a high interest rate, but it's still only 1.5 years pay. And he had that fucking house paid off. And plus, they probably bought a big car. Mum didn't have to work. Now Mum's fucking working. Dad's working. Probably sending the kids out to work. Now they'll never own their fucking house, man. The only way... You only get a house because you hope you can sell it for more, and then eventually you might be able to buy a shitbox somewhere.
Yeah.
Like, it's a complete failure. So I think for a lot of people in the future, communism is going to be fucking looking pretty good.
So I wanted to talk to you about mind-muscle connection. So how did that even come about? Like,
mind-muscle connection?
Because I'd never really heard about it until maybe 5 years into training.
Okay. So when I'm talking to my clients and when I'm demonstrating a technique, I get them to visualize. I get them to, what I do, I close my eyes and it's like, feel the muscle that you're working. So if we're doing, say, a lat pull down, we're not just pulling with their arms. Okay, yes, they are the levers, but you'll see people just pulling down. Where's the engagement? There's no engagement. You're working your lats, set your shoulder, and then pull and squeeze, contract and squeeze, so you feel that muscle being worked. It's the same as when you're training your quads as well. You're not just, on a leg extension, you'll see people just like kicking up their legs. No engagement. You're not contracting and squeezing your VMO,
What's
working
the
the
VMO?
quads. The VMO is that big teardrop.
Ah, the teardrop.
Yeah, the
We
teardrop.
all want that fucking teardrop.
I know, so you see them holding and squeezing tempo as well, and, pauses. So, again, you're squeezing and contracting that muscle. So that's the mind-muscle connection, rather than just pulling with reckless abandon. See them
That's
pulling
90%
down.
of people.
Which, you'll see in, say, a lot of commercial gyms.
Yeah.
Who, don't want, they think, I'll watch a few YouTubes and then, I'm good to go.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
think
found
I-
that when I first did first time I went to yoga,
Yeah.
and he said you had to hold your hands up and at a weird angle, and he just said that. He said, but engage the muscle in your back. You're not holding your arms up, your back's holding your
That's
arms
right.
up. Feel that muscle.
So
And
setting it.
I never even thought of that.
Yeah.
And then I found it, and then it was just not a big deal. I could hold my hands
Yeah.
up for as long as I wanted.
That's
you know?
it.
Yeah.
Because everything's engaged and
Yeah.
switched on. It's like, when you're doing particular, like say a deadlift, it's not just about, pulling the bar off the floor. There's so many, a compound lift is utilizing so many different muscles. So it's about setting position and then pulling, and engaging glutes, hamstrings. It's also the lockout in itself.
Yeah. So you're trying to mentally
Mentally
picture that
Yeah, that you're
every
working on
single
that.
muscle
You should be.
to
yeah.
make
So
that connection.
that's what I teach when I'm demonstrating technique, and I
Mm.
get that to make sure
And
the
is
client
that-
ingrains that.
Is that always a mental process, or do you get to
It
a
should
point
be a
where
mental process,
okay,
but
yeah.
now, like, for me, I know because I've been doing it so long. It's
Yeah.
second nature. When you're first starting out, again, it's in technique first, strength second. So leave the
people
ego
gotta
at the
drop
door.
that fucking weight down.
Like, ego at the door.
Yeah.
Because,
Yeah, that's right.
you're just wasting your time. You're not going to build, like, even as, say, a weightlifter, they've been doing different, their accessories in order to strengthen the stabilizers to lift those weights. So you see them lift explosively, but look at their physiques. There's so much upper back muscle, the arms, the lockout, the legs to, stabilize to hold that weight. So explosiveness is different, but they've got the physique to handle that weight and the way that they lift as well. Yeah.
Have you heard of like Ben Pekulski's
Yeah.
stuff? What do you?
He
what
used
do
to
you
send me that. I haven't even
Used to-
actually, Maria has been training me, my coach.
Yeah.
And we did some Ben pack stuff for comp.
Yeah,
Yeah.
wow.
So part of my comp prep, we did some of his training techniques.
I don't know this fella. What does he do? What?
He's a pro bodybuilder on the big stage. You'd probably know
Olympia.
him a lot
I know
more
who he
than
is,
I
yeah.
fucking do.
But yeah, he's got some good techniques.
I used to get into his stuff back in the day, but
Oh,
that
okay.
was a lot of mind muscle connection.
Yeah, definitely.
That was. I remember, just say squats. I think he was saying like try and push your quads outward.
That's right. So the knees, pushing the knees out. Definitely. So
And
you
you'll
get better
fit- and-
engagement.
Yeah, and you just automatically think that and push the floor away from you. Don't
That's
think
right.
about standing up.
Yes.
Think that you're trying to push the earth away, and you're like feeling all these different muscles.
Well, that's it. It's not
Yeah.
just hitting the quads. You need to be, again, you've got that bar on your back. So whether it's front squat or back squat, and again, it's ensuring that your core switched on. But again, your arms are locked in because you're holding that weight on your traps and upper back set. But also your positioning, how you're, setting your feet in the floor, how far your feet are positioned, they're shoulder width apart, are they splayed or are they, straight, are the feet together? You can hit the muscle on different angles, but it's also just ensuring that you're engaging and switching on everything that you want to be working.
Yeah, I think if you're training, I think you need a fucking coach. Like, I think
Look, I still have a coach, even after like 21 years of training. And, you never stop learning. Never stop learning. I had another coach as well as part of this prep, Pete Wall, who competed. He's another successful Australian bodybuilder. And, we went more back to old school and, different techniques on how to lift. So, I still picked up some different ways to train.
Yeah.
It's always good to mix it up.
Yeah, it is. Are you doing, because your rep range, I don't know, I've only really been filming you twice.
Yeah.
It wasn't super high, but
At the moment, because I'm still trying to rebuild that strength.
Okay.
God, I was like weak as a kitten when I was depleted. So the strength has come back now. So
Yeah.
8s to 10s, but slowly getting heavier.
so your rep range will come down.
Yeah, look, I think 8 to 12 is pretty good. Sometimes I go to
Yeah.
15.
Yep.
I'll go to failure. So if I was doing some bent over rows or croc rows, then the last set would be failure or standing lateral side raises. Then probably the lighter weight, maybe 5 kilos until failure, until burnout. Because the smaller muscles, better when you're for isolation, you can burn those muscles out by higher rep range. But say a compound like with a bench, 8 to 12. Unless you're doing an AMRAP, again, different techniques.
As many reps as possible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you haven't done one of them, they're fucking killer.
Oh, no, but they're good.
Yeah, this guy, Mr. Lucas
Yeah,
would run us through them.
Yeah.
Fuck, I used to want to die after.
Oh my, they're good though because it's the last, you know.
Yeah, nearly. You're like trying to swallow the spew.
You know, there's a few people that have made me like get to that.
Yeah.
Where I've had to lie down.
From just lifting or like
the lifting?
Yeah,
the lifting.
What do you do for cardio? Because you're not really into running.
No,
so.
I don't run. No.
Yeah.
Power walk.
Bodybuilders run?
When I was younger, I ran, but my knees are not 100%. And like again, I've got so much muscle mass.
Yeah.
It's not, you know, conducive to my sport. So I do a lot of power walking. I was using the stepper. I was doing the elliptical.
Yeah, I was going to say the elliptical.
Where I work as well, we have a lot of airdynes, rowers. So during
the airdyne devil bike.
Oh,
thing.
those devil bikes.
Oh my God!
But they're good though because the
they-
lactic acid. So to build that, you know, lactic threshold, I think they're great.
Yeah.
But during isolation, the lockdown, I bought a Concept 2 rower because I said I'm going to make this my bitch.
Yeah.
Because I used to teach the classes all
What's the Concept 2?
The rower.
Just a normal rower, but
Yeah, the Concept 2 is the best you can get.
Okay.
So that's what they use in the CrossFit Games. So I was going for speed. So I had a challenge I set during my Corona time,
Yeah.
my Corona Chronicles, and I was, you know, seeing how fast I could get to, what was it? Was it 20 calories, I think? 20 calories in 35 seconds, yeah. I know I have to look through my Instagram stories what my PB was.
Yeah, send it to me and I'll
But I was
post
just
it.
going like, just hard out, because I'm all about sprints.
Yeah.
Get it done.
That sounds good.
Fast.
That's my problem with the gym. You know, I found it boring. And then my old man, my brother was actually showing me. He goes, no, you just go mental. Go to the gym, go fucking mental for like 3 minutes, as hard as you fucking
That's
can.
why the HIIT class is good.
Yeah. That sounds me. I could probably handle that. And then you're done. You know?
Yeah, then it's all over.
It's all over. It's like ripping a bandage
Yeah,
off.
that's why I kind of like doing strength actually, because you don't have to
strength's
do
good.
many fucking reps.
Strength was good because it'd be like, you know, reps between 4 to 8, so your accessories would be like 8. But even with powerlifts, like 3, doubles. Okay, let's just go max. 5-minute break. I'll have some lollies.
Yeah.
So I enjoyed my powerlifting because it was such big breaks, but you know, it was all about the setup, and I was amped up. So, bang, let's do a double. You know,
Did you
5.
do the salt?
I have
What's
done
the-
ammonia, yeah, in competition, but I stopped doing that because there was one time I did it and I ended up back when the days with the Jack, the pre-workout. So I'd taken that pre-workout and then I did a few whiffs of ammonia and I was benching and I ended up having to stop the car and throwing up. So yeah, ammonia not for me. No,
Not amyl nitrate. Like
no,
ammonia.
Amel's different.
Yeah, okay.
Like, but I'm familiar with Amel from back in the day. The vapors on the dance floor,
Yeah,
yeah.
the rush.
Rush, yes, that's.
Oh, rush.
I was like, oh yeah, I need to buy some vapors. They're fun.
Yeah, right. The
Poppers, they call it
Poppers,
these days.
that's
Oh,
right.
yeah.
Back in the day.
those the Jack 3D, we were taking that at work.
Oh,
We
I
were
know.
working
And then
night shift.
everyone would come into the shop
Fuck,
when I
all
was
these coal
working
miners.
Wollongong, and they would like be, oh man, I want some of that pre-workout. I would just sell shitloads, and then they
You would, yeah.
and then they had to stop because they were getting tested, and it was coming up.
It was.
It's like,
What
oh,
was
no.
that? Is
Jack-
that?
Methamphetamine.
Oh,
Yeah.
was it really?
Was it Jack 3D? Was that
Any of
what
them,
it's
Jack
called?
3D, Mesomorph,
Yeah.
One More Rep, Hemo Rage, they all had that ingredient geranium extract, which was very chemically similar to methamphetamine.
Oh,
Because
nice.
I had it like multiple times, as every coal miner did. Like every shift.
Yeah.
And
You'd be wired for days.
yeah, but you weren't hungry.
No, that's right. Oh, I love that
Definitely
shit.
had meth in it because you're like,
Oh, it was great.
and you fucking.
Oh no! Look,
Get itchy and
the
shit.
scratching was from the beta alanine. It wasn't from the meth itself. So it's, the
okay.
beta alanine gives you that tingling sensation like electric fleas.
Yeah.
But yeah, the meth, similar compound to meth. Yeah, you'd be wired.
Yeah.
You'd be focused, and you weren't hungry.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah.
Remember that,
So I didn't
that
need
kids
kids.
thing? It was a few years ago, and it was like a little balls, little dots you can make pictures out of. It was like a plastic, and they found out it had exactly the same chemical as fantasy in it.
Oh, liquid fantasy, GBH.
Yeah, I think my brother went and scored a couple of these fucking kids games before.
Licking the balls.
Yeah, you have to look that up.
Wow.
Man.
We'll have to
Yeah,
look-
man, these fucking little things. These kids were just tripping fucking balls.
Fuck.
That's all over.
Actually, there was a guy I worked with used to go to Sydney, this pop puree place. Happy, I can't remember what it's called.
The happy.
Like poppies or
Happy
something?
Herbs
Yeah.
or something. And he used to buy DMT.
Yeah.
And fucking, and he goes, I didn't know what it was, but you had to use a burner to fucking
Yeah.
smoke
What
shit.
was it? like it was under the counter type thing.
Yeah, it was back.
So he was
like,
just, it was a deal. Okay.
Yeah.
Because you can still buy poppies and all that. Yeah. And get the old razor blade out. Not that you do. Slice them up.
Oh, yes.
Go to grandma's house. I did that once. I remember when I gave up the restaurant and I had 2 kilos of poppy seeds because I used to make fucking breads or whatever. And then I watched it was like Australian Food Safari, and they go to different
The Golden
cultures in Australia.
Triangle.
Yeah, and they did Poland, and these Polish ladies, and they make, it's like their eggnog, but they make it out of poppy seeds.
They were getting high.
And they were getting a bit of a high out of it. I'm like, well, I've fucking got 2 kilos of this shit I'm never going to use. So I
Eat the
poured
whole
it and 2 kilos in this, and like a litre of milk, and slowly just simmered it, and then I strained it and drank it. Oh my, it felt like I'd taken 10 packets of Panadol or something. Like it was, I think maybe I'm allergic to opiates because I can't take Panadine for that.
okay.
I just feel kind of shit on it. And oh man, I was like, like I melted through the fucking floor, man.
Fucking
Wow.
But yeah, and I remember Mythbusters did it. If you want to fail your drug test at work in it, two poppy seed bagels will do it for you, man.
Seinfeld episode.
Yeah, was that Seinfeld?
Oh, yeah.
She did eat a bagel and she had a poppy seed stuck in her tooth and she couldn't go to Malaysia.
Yeah.
And then she submitted some urine that was old and he goes, oh no, you're a menopausal woman, you. Yes.
Yeah,
the
classics.
bagels. That's it.
Speaking of the Golden Triangle, how was your trip to Southeast Asia?
Oh, fucking, I
It's a
wish
great
the
place,
border.
isn't it?
Oh my god, I can't wait to go back because I did a lot of shooting.
Yeah.
I loved it.
Yeah, I remember in Vietnam, was it? Or did you do it in Cambodia?
Vietnam, Cambodia, and Thailand. Yeah. So
Like shooting guns?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that's
M16.
definitely. I love all. Yeah, rifles are my favourite. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Not a big fan of the handguns. I just don't like the recoil. But
Yeah.
Target practice?
target practice. I'm not into hunting. But Matt did talk about the hunting, and I was like, oh.
I remember mate went over there. He was at Laos and he shot a bazooka into a cow.
Yeah. No.
Yeah,
Yes, I'm not into cruelty.
That's not no.
It
for
does
me.
sound quite funny.
Yeah, it does.
You can
but-
shoot the bazookas. It's like $500 US.
Oh, was it? Yeah.
And I was like, no, that's not for me. Or some rocket launcher. It's like, no, I just want to shoot all the guns. Let me shoot the guns.
Yeah,
Let
I
me
had a little go
coconuts.
to the M16 and that. It was
I loved it, and I had photos with it, and I said, "Oh, you might want to take that off your Tinder profile." I said, "Why?" It shows I'm adventurous. I was like, "You've been."
No, remember, that's what they got David Hicks, you know, that guy they stuck in Guantanamo.
Yeah.
Aussie guy, and they said, look at him, he's a Mujahideen with M16. He was in fucking Thailand shooting one of these guns.
oh, those fucking assholes.
They used it, man.
That's shit.
Yeah.
No, I loved loved all the time.
Good
Can't
fun.
wait to go back.
Yeah.
Because I'm a solo traveller. Like I don't need to travel with anyone, and I just go on my own adventures. And I did a lot just training. The second time I went back to Thailand, I didn't stay in Patong. I do like Patong to party, but I went to Shillong, so near Big Buddha, and I just for training.
Yeah.
And it was just so.
Where's that?
That's Shillong. Is.
Is that near all the
45 minutes?
MMA, like the
All the
Muay
MMA,
Thai
yeah,
and
that's right.
MMA gyms?
Tiger Muay Thai.
Yeah.
So there's a whole strip. And that's where Unit 27, the CrossFit gym, and Primal, that's where I trained.
Yeah, okay.
And I was benching there in that.
Were you doing CrossFit?
No, God no.
Have you ever thought about that?
I've done CrossFit. I worked in a CrossFit box in Wollongong.
Yeah,
so I
right.
did a little stint as a strength coach there, and I did the CrossFit Opens in 2017. I think that's how I fucked my shoulder. Because I was, with just pure brawn, no technique.
Yeah.
Like, again, anything of a competitive nature is just like I go full mode.
Yeah.
And I'm like just with the snatches, just flinging up these weights overhead without, the correct technique because you're getting time frame.
Yeah, it's for speed, isn't it?
For speed. And I'm pretty sure that's how the impingement happened back then.
Fucking CrossFitters.
But look, I like the concept.
Yeah.
And I think if you wanted to do it, you'd do a full foundation on like Olympic weightlifting. But, for general pop, I think, the HIIT classes are great, but I think you need to really learn
Technique.
and the technique first.
Yeah.
But like with anything, the conditioning, the running, getting on the air dyne, wall balls, slam balls, things like that, kettlebell swings, that's fine. But when it comes to gymnastics and Olympic weightlifting, there should be better, better technique taught.
I think, because a lot of people hurt themselves at the gym.
They do.
And I think maybe there should be someone kind of walking around going,
But You can't do that. Like,
I know you can't, but
Yeah.
maybe there should be because
Well, someone like me doesn't know what the fuck they're doing. I've never had a personal trainer or anything, but I go to the gym. I've been to the gym and I do, and I've got this thing, with the one that goes like that.
oh, the pec deck, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm quite good at it. But then something happens in the tendon on my shoulder blade, and it gets to there, and then I've got to kind of
Pinches?
and then I've got to go like this, like
So it must be the way that you're.
something's
shoulders
not,
come out,
yeah.
yeah.
It's just it feels like there's a tendon over the back of my shoulder blade. Anyway, I know I'm doing something wrong, So,
but maybe you should have 3 months with a
Well,
compulsory with a
we
trainer.
generally have that, like where I work.
Yeah.
So there's introductions,
Yeah.
and some people take it on, but it's also some people. Oh, look, I'm fine. I don't need anything. And you see people with bad technique, and I've
like the guy karate chopping today. What the fuck
Oh no,
is that?
that's he's karate chopping because he's come from martial. I've seen him for years, and he's martial arts background. Each their own. It's different.
but like old school
But
karate
that was
chop, karate
full
chop.
on.
He's got a box with a fucking bag on it.
And then he was pulling the
no.
sled. Yeah.
He goes, "I'll just get out of the way," and I'm like, "Okay, what's he doing with that?" He
That's very strange.
drags it
individual.
out of the way. This old guy,
Cobra
and he's
Kai
just
style.
fucking
Oh yeah.
karate chopping the shit out of this bag.
Wow.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was very. I've never seen anyone. Do
Oh, I've seen some weird and wonderful things. I've seen people with their techniques. It's like I shake my head, but you can't say anything because I have.
You of all people should be able
I
to
have
say
said something to someone and they get offended. I've said something to the boys. Look, boys, you need to just drop the weight down, and this is how you do the pull down. It's like they picked up their bags and they left the gym.
Oh,
They didn't like to be told.
Well, they're dickheads. And really
Yeah.
is.
But also another girl too. She, behind the neck pull downs. Now, unless you've got that muscle mass, now she was just skinny. And she's just pulling with reckless abandon. I'm going, oh my god, this is not good. And I broach.
why is that for people that don't know?
Look, it's-
for the
Again, the trap, the rhomboids, if you've got that development there, and it's slow and controlled, and the way you're angled, and she's just there like this. She goes, I like the retraction. I said, well, use a resistance band if you want to get that activation. You're doing a heavy pull down behind the neck. I wouldn't even do that amount of weight. But she got very offended, and I was told, look, do not engage. She'd be the type that will take it all the way to the top, and you won't win. Ooh, I said, okay.
Wow, really? Just trying to help them out.
You
That's
can't.
ridiculous.
Because they get offended.
I love that.
yeah, but
Generally, people are.
your shit.
Depends. Some people will take that critique on board. Some people get
I'd
offended.
love for someone to be saying you're doing shit wrong.
Yeah, that's what I
Because
think.
it's how you get better.
Exactly, but
Yeah.
I think you need to get at that age though, don't you? Where you. But then again,
Well, it depends.
the
The
older people
gym's a
can't take
funny
it either.
place, though, isn't it? Like people go for different reasons.
yeah.
But you don't want to be doing something wrong.
No,
You're going to
you
get
don't.
hurt.
You're going to hurt yourself.
Who wants to get hurt?
It
Actually,
looks really embarrassing if you hurt yourself.
I
at
did
the
hear
gym,
a
but-
really good
yeah.
story actually. At
tell.
Aventus.
Yes, do tell.
So a guy I knew from a while ago, he went in there for a one-off training session. He said these two skinny guys come in, and just loaded up the hack squat, and fucking, he said he's racked it off, not too bad, went down and just couldn't come back up.
Stop.
He goes, what's that? Musical instrument?
Oh, piano
Oh, the
accordion.
accordion.
Yeah, he was like one of them, just fully compressed at the bottom.
Shit. And how did he how did they?
They had to get 3 other guys come and help get this because his mate couldn't lift it,
Yeah. Oh, that's not good.
and they just grabbed their shit and left
Not for them. No, we tried.
because it's underweight, isn't it? With nothing on it, the actual machine weighs.
It's about 50 kilos. Yeah.
So they put plates on it and thought
50, you
that'll
added
be
two
alright.
two more plates, 40, 80, plus 300. Oh my God. No. You get that.
Yeah. I thought that was hilarious when I heard it. Just imagine.
It happens. I've seen people stuck under the bar, or the bar go like this because they haven't put collars on.
Yeah, and the weights
and the
fall
weights
off.
have been flying. It's like, what's wrong with you? And I'm like, even 10 kilos, just force
Put
of
'em
habit,
on.
I put collars on.
Yeah, and they're not hard to put on. You just fucking squeeze your hand.
People are just, yeah.
So do you work out to music because you didn't?
Oh,
You don't like training to?
I've been listening to, my music is very eclectic. I have a lot of different music that I listen to.
Yeah.
It differs to the cardio, obviously. what was I listening to? Playlist, metal,
Yeah.
rock, Iron Maiden, Kiss, AC/DC.
Steel Panther.
No, I was introduced to Steel Panther at work by a colleague. Thank you, Trent. Yeah, that was
they're great.
It was good.
They're a fun band.
It was hilarious.
Have you seen the film clips?
I would like to watch that.
You got to check them out.
Look, Motley, I love all that. Motley.
Yeah.
Sometimes some dance music, but look, 80s, 70s, like ABBA.
But for
Just
training, no, not that really.
It depends on what floats my boat at the time on my playlist. But I'll be honest, like even going back into Elvis stuff,
Really?
listening to some Elvis, but like you listen to the lyrics and some of his stuff too, and some of it was quite dark.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it was my favourite band, Danzig. He did a cover, and I didn't know it was a cover. So it was an Elvis cover.
What song was that?
Evil.
Evil.
Yeah.
Do you know
Oh no,
that one?
Trouble or Evil?
Do you know that one by Elvis?
Oh, I think so. Evil.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My father,
a lot of songs.
green-eyed Jack. What was that? My daddy was a green-eyed Jack something.
No.
Yeah.
I think I do know.
I
but
heard a
can't-
story about Elvis. He was walking past a car yard and there was this like homeless lady out the front. She was staring at a Cadillac, and he said, "Oh, do you like that car? Do you?" She's like, "Yeah, it looks good." So he went in the shop and bought it for her.
Yeah. It
Have
was
you heard that
It was a
story?
dude like that, man. Yeah. he
Wow.
did- I think he did it a few times.
I don't know what the fuck she was going to do with that. She probably sold it, but
Yeah.
that was
Yeah.
a very generous act.
Very
He was
generous.
a really nice guy, and he was just surrounded by assholes. I think But this happens to a lot of nice people, I suppose. With
Yeah,
money.
yeah, they suck on that, don't they?
They suck
Oh,
on
yeah.
it, man, especially over in the States.
Oh, absolutely.
So where do you want to go now with bodybuilding? You've gone pro.
Now that I've gone pro, so obviously because the borders are closed, it's not much, I can do competitive wise at the moment. I had a friend that, sent me a message, you go, "Oh, do you want to back it up with numbers?" So look, I'm loyal to one federation, so I always do one.
Okay.
And this took a lot out of me. It's like the last thing I want to do after this prep was like, do another comp.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I
How
just...
soon would it have been?
May 22nd, I think.
That's pretty
So
soon, yeah.
pretty soon, like if that was on the cards, but it's like, no.
They're not doing
Yeah.
online. You think with the bodybuilding online?
They
might
were
work,
last year.
actually.
Look, they were doing that last year. So the comps are happening now, but overseas, look, I want to be there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's
It's
half the buzz,
overseas. I
isn't it?
want to be there combining
What's
that
it
with
like
holiday.
behind stage? Like, is there some, like,
'Cause everyone's getting-
you're
yeah.
competing against that person.
With me, look,
You
I
fuck
just...
with their head or what?
No. Like for me, I don't talk to my people that I compete with. I'm
Yeah.
not friends with them on social media. I don't follow them. I don't want to know who I'm competing against. I just turn up on the day. I like to fly under the radar. So I wasn't posting that much only until the end. It's always look, I'm prepping for summer. My birthday's coming up, and then it's like, people saying, "Oh, you're doing comps?" Like, maybe.
Yeah,
Maybe it's a photo shoot. But I don't like to share too much, and I
Yeah.
don't like to talk things up until, okay, I'm at a posing workshop, so if I've got the bikini on, something's happening.
Yeah.
So with competitors, not really. Look, I'm there to focus. I'm not there to, be social. I'm there just to get in the zone, to pump up, get on stage, present the best package possible,
Yeah.
and
What
to
do you
wow
do?
the judges.
What do you do to pump up backstage?
Pump up, so...
Is there weights there? Or?
Oh yeah, I brought my own weights,
Oh, yeah.
but it's also so think of the peak week. So I've depleted down to 30 grams of carbs. So with depletion training, we go on high reps, 15 to 20. So that's when I do the high reps.
Yeah.
So you're depleting all the glycogen from the muscle. You've dropped your carbs, so you're essentially like I got down to 60 kilos, so I lost 10 kilos with this prep. We're talking from mid-December. So when I cut the alcohol around January, well, New Year's Day was the last time I had a drink. Yeah. So I got to 60 kilos depleted, and then you're starting the water manipulation. So you're drinking a lot of water,
Yeah.
you're dropping your carbs down, and then after the depletion training, Thursday comes the carb up. So with the carb up, the water's dropping down. So you're filling up, but you're dropping the water. So that's how the muscles get tight. So it's like a super compensation. So you get even more pumped up.
Wow.
But it's also with manipulation of sodium as well. So
What do
the
you
way-
do with that?
No salt, or you are taking salt?
There was salt up until, and then probably the last, I'd have to look at my notes, but then you cut the salt out on one day. Again, so the water gets lower, but the carbs are, again, you assess and see how the body fills out, because sometimes you don't want to pump up too much because you can spill over. So it's always best to be just under,
Okay.
just right. So the
So
coach
it's all
is
about
good.
definition, isn't it?
The definition. It's not about how big.
Yeah.
It's always about conditioning and how you present. So sometimes it's better to be just under, because on stage when you flex and squeeze, you can bring out that separation. And
How do they judge it?
Yeah, I was
Because
going to say, and
it's so hard.
and is
Symmetry.
the judging fair enough as well?
Yeah.
they
I believe it
pretty
is.
good?
There's like a panel of judges and there's a head judge as well. So they've got that scrutiny. And they judge it on criteria. So the symmetry round is, where you... And so as soon as you walk upon that stage, that's when you're judged. So if you're walking like, you don't give a shit,
Slouchy.
or you're not smiling, it's like, do you want to be there? So it is the presentation. As soon as you step foot on that stage, you should be smiling, and the way that you walk, even to flex, to show that muscle definition, and then onto your spot, and then you start in your compulsory round. So
they tell you what poses to do?
no, they'll
or is
talk
it-
about quarter turn, quarter turn, quarter turn.
Okay.
So there is a way that you present. So again, you're presenting your upper body, you're flaring your lats, you've got your quads switched on, your core tight, and again, you should be smiling.
Yeah.
If you're like, I've seen girls with great physiques, but like a sow is like, do you want to be there or not?
Yeah.
But they were young, they don't know. It's their first comp,
Yeah.
fair enough. And then your quarter turn. So they're judging from person to person how each person looks from side, rear, front, back. If there's any, weaknesses. And then you get into your compulsories. So front double bicep, side chest, your tricep pose, your rear double bicep. And they actually threw one in, which they actually cut out for a period of time, was the abs and thigh pose. And I hadn't been practicing that one. I did a few.
Yeah.
But she threw that in. I was like, oh my God. But again, it's...
Abs and thighs, so it's all concentrating on there.
Yeah, just focus on bringing in that definition, the serratus as well, and ensuring that your quads are switched on.
Yeah. Wow, I can't.
And then you
I
do a
can't
routine. Yeah.
Yeah.
But look, I think when you're all dehydrated, when you're, that lean, under the lights, and with tanning as well, and flexing and squeezing, and then smiling, so it's...
Once
It's
you
hard.
go, like the tanning can get a bit out of control. I've seen some people, they only tan to here and then...
Oh, look, it's hard to
like
get
a
the
white
makeup
head.
on. Look,
Yeah.
you should
Yeah.
really match the foundation with the tan,
Yeah, you should.
but, sometimes shit happens.
It's kind of weird. Eh?
It's
Like
very weird.
Chocolate body and a white...
I know. Look, yeah, maybe
Trying
they
to present
didn't...
it at the best possible.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
just
Isn't it?
probably didn't get enough time to get the right foundation colour. I don't know. But look, it's happened to me in the past where I've done my own makeup and I didn't know any better. So, and then you're judged on a routine. I hate the routine. I really do.
What's the routine?
It's a routine to music. So I think I sent you the video.
Yeah,
so.
you did.
And like,
It's too quick, I think.
I like it quick. I just want to
Yeah.
be off the stage because I'm not. Look, I like to dance. Don't get me wrong. I love
Yeah.
the clubs, but
That's not
when
really
it's on the
what
stage,
it's about, though, isn't it? It seems
no, it's the way that again that you're putting your compulsory poses into the routine and the way it flows. So it should be a presentation of the physique flowing into
yeah.
movement,
Okay, that
and
makes
it's
sense.
presented in a graceful manner.
And you choose the music, or they?
Oh
choose
yeah,
it?
look, I've had
Yeah.
many different. I've had In Excess, I've had Rose Tattoo, I've had Jimmy Barnes, I've had Jet, and I used Kylie and Madonna. Yeah.
Whoa.
Oh.
Well, like I had to soften it up because like I wanted to do Judas Priest one time.
Oh, which
Grinder.
one? Which song?
Grinder.
Oh, that's cool.
Fucking perfect.
I fucking love that song, but for the
Looking for
Federation,
meat.
that's all about
Yeah,
me.
man,
Actually,
British Steel.
I did a photo shoot. Like, apologies to all my vegan friends, but like, no, actually, no, because I'm a meat eater, and that's what's my Tinder profile, meat eater. And there's two like big hanging carcasses of meat, and I'm like, just like in my bikini. This is the comp bikini, just holding on, and like chomping, ready to chomp onto one. So I always
been
wanted.
awesome.
Oh, I can't wait to get the photo back for that. Yeah, but
Send
Grinder.
it to me if it
I will,
comes. Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, that'd be sweet.
Alan Vella shot that one. I loved it because
Is he the guy that did all your recent photos?
No, I'd had like how many shoots? About I've had
Fuck
5
a
shoots.
lot lately.
Yeah.
The guy that did the the Terminator.
That's
one.
Matt Napick.
Holy shit! I'll show you something.
Oh, there's more.
Magic.
Like, there was like girls, bikini girls with machine guns.
Yeah.
There was cyber noir demeanor. There was another futuristic like Eon Flux type thing.
I love
and
that.
He was good.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Yeah.
We've got to get you a Smack Panda shirt, like a real tight one, and you can do some stuff for us. That'd be
Absolutely.
great.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, man.
For sure.
Yeah, we've got to get some new ones made up.
Yeah, we do.
We fucking sold all the other ones. It's good.
Yeah.
But so did we answer future of your bodybuilding?
Oh, bodybuilding, yeah.
Because
So
I sort of asked 15
That's
other
right.
questions in between.
we digressed. Look, I think with bodybuilding, because the borders are closed at the moment, there's not much I can do. So my goal is when the borders open, it's either Europe or Asia. But I'm happy with, having a bit of balance at the moment, enjoying life, just growing. So I feel that my body's rebounded well. So I want to keep lean. I don't want to be shredded. I want to enjoy life. I want to, indulge. But, it's just...
At least where you can bounce back. Is that your thought?
Well, I've already bounced back, so to speak. So I'm sure
Yeah.
I put on a couple of kilos, my face is filled out, and I'm happy. So the strength will slowly come back.
Yeah.
The focus is on working on the weaknesses, and putting on some more size, because overseas, they're bigger competitors. So we're looking at, what the weaknesses are. So we're looking probably October next year.
How do you find it's pretty hard for you. I don't know. Maybe you're really good at criticizing yourself or what. But
How do you know you got
What do I need?
Yeah.
Oh, there's always weaknesses. What happened
because
with...
it's hard from today. I couldn't see any fucking.
For
weaknesses.
me, because of the injury with the rotator cuff, I know that I lost a lot of size upper body. My legs were always weaker. Now they're the strongest parts, because we smashed it hard, Maria and I. But my upper body, because I wasn't benching as much, I had a lot more thickness in the back.
Okay.
In comparison to years gone by, the delts were popping a lot more, the arms were a bit bigger. But also I lost probably 2 kilos during Corona, because I didn't have access to the gym.
Yeah.
And the only thing I was
think
training...
everyone would have.
Oh,
yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
I had access to a gym once a week. A friend up in Newtown, so all I was training was legs, because I didn't have equipment at home for legs.
Yeah.
So that was the only thing.
How often do you normally go to a gym?
Oh, about 4 or 5 days.
So 4 or 5 down to 1. But just a comment there, most people lost weight during Corona, I think is probably not right. I think most people put about 10 fucking kilos.
I put on I got to 72. I looked at a video in September and I was training on my balcony. I thought, I was like, what is... But then, I was smashing... I'd train probably 2-3 times a day, so the training was good. But then I was, having jars of almond butter. I'd finish that in 2 days. And I was eating so much rubbish.
Yeah.
Because, again, it was that boredom. It was we had no structure.
Yeah.
But I felt very relaxed and rested, and I didn't want to go back to work. And it's like, oh.
No wonder. It was the worst thing, going back to work.
I was like, oh, the gyms are open. He's like, no, I don't want to go back.
Yeah.
No.
So do you plan on what do you plan on doing when you do retire? Because you've had this.
What's retirement?
hectic, long.
I wonder that. Yeah, why retire?
Yeah.
Why retire?
Well,
Yeah.
I don't know, but
What is retirement? The retirement age is now, 70?
And by the time we get there, there'll be no fucking...
There'll be no
pension, man.
retirement.
we won't
yeah.
be
There's no
allowed.
retirement, man. They'll keep
That's true.
whipping that fucking pony.
but I
until
mean,
it's
retiring from bodybuilding.
Look, when the body can't handle it, but I'm sure there'd be some sort of
Something
involvement.
Because you've done
Shooting.
you've done something your whole life, haven't you?
Darts.
Swimming. Yeah, that's right. So, has it always been a competition?
I'm very competitive. That's just the nature. Look, I was never really that academic, I'll be honest. Artistic. Well, my sister was the artistic one.
Older sister?
Younger.
Younger sister.
So, for me, it was always athletic background and just excelling in that. If that's a strength for me, yeah. Why not?
For sure.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's a good way to wrap this fucker up. That's great. This has been excellent.
Yeah.
Thank
We've learned
you.
a lot, eh?
Yeah. No, it was
Good
fun.
to have you on.
Thank you.
We appreciate it. And we'll sign off.
We'll sign off.
Fantastic.
Crazy
Ciao.
Kids next time.
And when